for the Euro set. Yeah, you're all up
Yeah, it's
very
1:30
early.
in the morning for me. You
Eight.
guys are yeah. All
It's a
right.
really nice day here to be sat inside.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to Sick and Wrong, the world source for antisocial commentary. I'm one of your hosts, Steve Simon.
Hey, though, demons. It's me, your boy, Kate Rambeau.
Kate, you sound rather chipper for someone who's grieving.
Am I grieving the loss?
Yeah, like how is the grieving
Oh, I
process?
know. Yes, finding out that Nicky Graham has died has dealt a blow to me. Not the other guy, just Nicky Graham. I care about Nicky Graham, not the other guy.
I'm talking Prince Philip. You're not mourning Prince Philip?
No, I'm mourning Nicky Graham. May she rest in peace. It is always cold in here. I agree with her.
I'm in mourning.
Are
Prince
you in
Philip was my
mourning?
favorite. He was my favorite royal. He had to have been the most popular royal, isn't he?
The most popular royal? No, the most popular royal is the really dead Princess Diana. She was the people's princess, much like how The Rock is the people's champ.
You know, I'm kind of stunned by this. I thought for sure that Prince Philip was the most popular royal. I mean, he's my favorite royal.
Of course, he
Always
would
has
be your
been.
favorite. Yeah, I can see why he would be your favorite. You probably agree with a lot of the remarks that he has made
Well,
throughout
okay.
time.
Prince Charles, lame. Harry and William suck. They're so fucking boring. I'm going to miss, and maybe I'm in the minority here, but I'm going to miss Prince Philip's great wit and his keen observational humor.
Yes, I'm sure you probably have a little list, do you, of all his keen wit and
I'm just saying he had comedic timing, and I can't say that for many other royals. They
that's
take
very true.
themselves so seriously,
They do.
you
Yes.
know. Um, in 2011, then Prime Minister David Cameron remarked about Philip's wit, saying humor is a great part of British life, and we thank the Duke for his unique contribution. So there
Okay.
you go.
Yeah.
You know.
David Cameron, who shagged a pig's head. Never
but
forget.
some people claim that some of Philip's comments kind of had hints of casual racism.
Maybe went a little too far.
You think so? I mean, did you feel that way? Like,
Oh,
what was your sentiment on Prince Philip?
well, to be fair, I hate all the royals, and I think they should all be chucked into like a cauldron of burning oil and just like left to it. But
Tarred and feathered.
it was like, when the whole Megan thing came out and she was like, oh, there was some comments made about the baby's skin color. It's like, we all know who said that. We all know. You don't even have to allude to who even said that. And you know that it was the zombie Prince Philip.
That's another thing I liked about him. He just looked like the Walking Dead. I
Oh,
mean,
he looks
what,
like
what was he, 180?
he looks like one of the humanoids of Fallout 4. He totally looks like one of them.
His skin was like translucent. Like you could see the
Oh.
veins.
I reckon he's been dead for some time and they just like taxidermied him and they've just been wheeling him out to press events. Because a couple of weeks back, it was like he was outside the palace and everyone was like, Prince Philip is looking so healthy. And I was like, what? He's looking healthy like he's Stonehenge, like a millennia old.
Well, I don't know. How many other English people look healthy?
Hey, you're half English. Are you talking about yourself?
So I'm just going to list some of my favorite gaffes, some of the highlights of Prince Philip
ready.
gaffes here. One of my favorites is during a royal visit to China in 1986.
China.
Philip,
Say it like Trump.
China. Philip described Beijing as ghastly. And then he told British students, if you stay here much longer, you'll all be slitty eyed. That was 1986. I can understand. I mean, he's like
Okay, right,
130 years old. If he said this in like 1952, I'd be
yeah.
like, well, that's not, that's probably not the
Ghastly about
appropriate thing
Beijing.
to say. But
Slitty.
this is 1986.
Yeah, I was 1 years old in that, and it probably explains growing up hearing stuff like that. Why I am the way I am today. I am
He
what I
then
am.
he then threw in another quip here. If it has four legs and is not a chair, has wings and is not an aeroplane, or swims and is not a submarine, the Cantonese will eat it.
He predicted the COVID. He predicted it. He's a scientist.
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
This is a great one. And actually, I don't know, I think there's some truth to this one, but 1995, he asked a driving instructor in Scotland, How do you keep the natives off the booze long enough to pass the test?
That's very true. They
It's
can't.
funny because it's true,
It is very
you know?
true. Yep, I
Um,
agree.
in the mid 1990s, there was a vociferous debate over gun control because of a Dunblane primary school shooting in Scotland left 16 dead. And Prince Philip weighed in, surprisingly. He
Good
said,
God.
if a cricketer, for instance, suddenly decided to go into a school and batter a lot of people to death with a cricket bat, which you could do very easily, are you going to ban cricket bats? You
Oh,
know,
wow, which you could do very easily. I think fucking Prince Philip. It's a lot easier to murder someone with a gun than a cricket bat. What is
I
he
gotta say,
like?
he sounds like a GOP senator, though, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Are we going to ban the cricket bats? What an
This is a
idiot.
great one too. This is a famous one, and he was talking to a British student in 1998, mind you. This was not long ago.
Okay.
I think he was like 110 then. But he was talking to a British student who'd been trekking through Papua New Guinea, and he asked him, "You managed not to get eaten then?" Because they used to, you know,
They, yeah, be
participate
cannibals.
in cannibalism, but that was like what in like the 1700s.
We're aware of that though, Prince Philip. What is he like?
2002, he asked a number of notable Australian Aborigines, "Do you still throw spears at each other?"
Oh my
Brilliant, brilliant. Just the timing's so great. Um, I like, and a year later, so that was 2002, 2003. I don't know why they bring his withered
Why?
husk out to these public events. But a year later, the Queen and Prince Philip went to open the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Nigeria. And it was the Queen's visit, like first visit to Nigeria in 47 years.
Oh my word.
Yeah, greeted by Nigeria's then president, Olusegun Obasanjo, who is wearing the traditional robes
Oh
of
no.
Nigerian royalty. Philip looked at him and said, "You look like you're ready for bed." I just wonder, like, what was the Queen's response to this? Does she just roll her eyes and just ignore
Oh,
it?
I bet she would always give him a warning in the car as well. Don't say anything fucking stupid. You just know he's gonna say it. You know
I
he
bet
is.
you, I bet you she sodomizes him with that scepter later. Don't you think?
Yeah, do you think she pegs him?
I think so.
That's
Teach you
probably
to
how he
embarrass me in
died.
public.
Yeah, internal injuries, like Michael
I think
Barrymore
so.
killing that lad in his pool. That's totally how Prince Philip died.
In 2009, at a Buckingham Palace reception to honor 400 influential British Indians, he told an executive named Atul Patel, "There's a lot of your family here tonight," after seeing his name badge Patel,
Oh my
because it's
god.
such a common name. Aren't you going to miss? That's what I'm saying. I'm going to miss that. He's my favorite royal.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna miss that at all. I'm not gonna miss my tax money paying him to make these fucking comments at these people.
Your tax money keeping him alive. He's like a
It,
mummy.
yeah, I know. Well, I was a bit gutted because I heard when the Queen dies, we all get a paid day off work. And I thought it'd be maybe the same for Prince Philip, seeing as he is the king, but it's not true. So now I'm back to hating him.
Frederick Joseph, here, an American writer who wrote a book about his experiences with racism, said many of the same people who are having conversations about Prince Philip's history of racism and colonialism are now saying we should also mourn him.
Yeah, I can see that.
And yeah, an Egyptian, American Egyptian, Mona Elthaway, called the blanket news coverage of his death ridiculous, saying he belonged to an institution which colonized and pillaged so extensively.
He did. Also, isn't he related to the Queen as well? Are they casually related to each other?
I
I'm
thought
sure they
all the
are.
royals are
Yeah,
related.
fucker, they're all inbred bloody idiots. But
I don't know. I think like me and most of our listeners here, I'm sure you wish you could go back in time somehow and experience firsthand these awkward racist moments just again and again. I mean, it's maybe not be there physically, but maybe if there was a way you could remote view or astrally project yourself
very clever this,
into
Simon.
through time, through the space time continuum and watch this and experience some of these racist moments.
Very well done on the segue there. I
It
saw how
wasn't
you got
good.
there. Yeah, you projected yourself there. I
I
saw it.
did.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to teach people how to do just that in today's show. You know, a lot of people, when they hear the show, you know, they turn it off after 5 minutes and they dismiss the podcast as being offensive tripe or boorish claptrap. I've heard that a few times. You know, and that's often the case, quite often. Usually it is boorish claptrap, but sometimes we can be educational. And after listening to an episode, our listeners will take out their earbuds and grin, knowing that they learned something today. I mean, you know, is that true?
Yeah, we're going to be schooling some people today, taking them to school on a Sunday.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is going to be one of those episodes. We're going to teach you how to astrally project so you can enjoy some of Philip's racist comments. And it's all kind of based on a discussion here of Project Stargate. Well, I love saying that, Project Stargate.
It's just so cool, isn't it? It is a really
Yeah,
cool
that was a
phrase.
U.S. Army funded astral projection and hypnosis research training program for psychic soldiers. Like
Awesome.
that was the weird thing too. Like during the Cold War, all the way up until the 80s, the CIA was like exploring psychic research and using it to try to make like psychic soldiers.
Well, so did the Nazis. The Nazis did something very similar to this. So is it not just an extension of maybe Operation Paperclip became this?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it might be similar, but here, I mean, well, here they were actually trying to engage in remote viewing. I don't know if the Nazis were doing that.
They,
Maybe.
yeah, they were into like psychic soldiers, but they probably, they were spending their money on concentration camps and not
Yeah,
on
and
Project
they're doing
Stargate.
like brutal experiments to humans. Whereas like here, I mean, maybe they're trying to make cows have heart attacks by staring at them or goats. I'm making a reference to that movie Men Who Stare at Goats. But they actually that movie Men Who Stare at Goats was based on this project, Project Stargate. So during the Cold War, the CIA conducted several experimental programs involving the human psyche. One of the most famous, which we've mentioned here on the show, is MK Ultra. But it was
Yeah,
also one of the probably the most malevolent program that they did, aimed at mind control using drugs and other techniques for torture and interrogation. Um, and that's when they used LSD surreptitiously on their subjects to turn them into robot agents. But then, yeah, that program, they tried to cover that up, and they're obviously ridiculed and disparaged for that. But some of these other programs, like Project Stargate, I mean, it wasn't. I don't think there was really malevolent intent. I don't think it had any lasting damage on any of the subjects. But it was interesting. I mean, so Project Stargate, they actually trained operatives in astral projection and remote viewing. These are psychic abilities that allow for perception and, if well practiced, the ability for your astral body to travel anywhere through the astral planes, like including distant planets and through space and time, like the future and to the past.
cool. This is
Um,
like already so many Christopher Nolan films.
oh no, totally. I mean, you had Men and Stare at Goats. You had the movie Stargate. Remember that with Kurt Russell?
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Interstellar, same kind of deal. Astral projection is mostly interchangeable with the psychophysical phenomena of an OBE or an out of body experience. And remote viewing is similar to astral projection as well. And with the right guidance and technologies, astral projectors believe that we can train our consciousness to move beyond the confines of the space time dimension. So people who are experienced at being an astral projector have a superhuman ability to free their human mind to travel through the universe, not hindered by time,
This is what I got
or
told the
physical
first time
constraints.
I took acid. This is totally what my dealer told me. The
Yeah,
same
it's just
speech,
like
word for word.
calm down, put Blue Oyster Cult on, and just
Dude.
feel the music.
Yeah, dude.
Um, Remote viewing is sometimes referred to as an astral projection or soul travel. A remote viewer is said to have the ability to give information about an object or a person in a far off location, which is why the CIA was interested in this. They thought this was a way they could spy on the Soviets
Oh, they were
from their
obsessed
living
with
room.
with spying, weren't they? They were turning pigeons into their spies. If they could make anything into a spy, the CIA was all about it.
Yeah, they were even trying to use like kittens at
Yeah,
one point. Like
beautiful
like putting like
kittens.
speakers and microphones in like a little kitten.
Yeah,
It didn't work out very well. But the U.S. Army was very interested in psychic experimentation from the late 70s all the way through the 80s, and it paid for intelligence officers to go on these week-long excursions to institutes specializing in OBEs and astral projection and other psychic phenomena. Um, the main program that Project Stargate grew out of was called Project Center Lane. And this is like to determine the point of it, the objective here is to determine the use of psychoenergetic phenomena in the intelligence field. So, intelligence gathering using psychic abilities. And the
okay.
only reason anyone knows about this is because these documents were declassified. These CIA documents were declassified in like 2001.
Yeah.
And so now they just don't care who finds out about it. Like, and a lot of the test subjects, the soldiers that participated, will like openly discuss like what went on,
I bet
and
it
it's
was a
fine. We're,
very relaxing time, to be fair.
you know, I would have rather done that than boot camp. I mean, why
Yeah.
not?
I bet there's a
You
lot of
know?
sleeping going on.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably relaxing. You're probably in one of those like sensory deprivation booths. You know, it's probably you're listening to like Enya and relaxing
See,
music,
no, 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 not Enya.
Enigma.
No, that's when it becomes torture, when they're putting the Enya on.
Yeah, probably is. So in June 1983, Army Commander Wayne M. McDonnell was asked to give his commander an assessment of the psychic services provided by the Monroe Institute, which was a nonprofit organization focused on treatments designed to expand a person's consciousness. Here's the Monroe Institute, much like Xavier's, mansion in the
Yeah,
X-Men, university slash mansion. It's very similar.
it
And
does. It looks exactly like that.
yeah, and it was founded by Bob Monroe, who is a radio broadcasting executive who became known for his research into altered consciousness and founding the Monroe Institute. He wrote a book in 1971 called Journeys Out of the Body. And that's where the term out of body experience, OBE, came from. And in fact, The Simpsons based the character of Dr. Marvin Monroe on
Yeah.
Bob here. Remember? Do you
Brilliant.
remember that? It was one of the earliest episodes of The Simpsons. They went on Dr. Marvin Monroe's radio show and they were zapping
Yeah.
each other and like they
Yeah.
took all the power out of Springfield. But yeah, it was based on this guy. So Monroe achieved worldwide recognition as an explorer of human consciousness and out of body experiences. And he started researching it way back in like the 1950s. He produced evidence that specific sound patterns have identifiable beneficial effects on our capabilities. For example, certain combinations of frequencies could enhance alertness, could induce sleep patterns in others. And others, it could actually, provoke expanded states of consciousness. So, you might have heard this term that's been going around on the TikTok called the gateway process or the gateway experience.
Yeah, I have heard about this.
There's a few TikTokers talking about like expanding their mind through the gateway experience. And the CIA actually manipulated the gateway experience for the same purposes. But this was created by Bob Monroe, the founder of the Monroe Institute.
Did he create the
And
brown sound as well?
I don't know if he created the brown sound. I'm sure he's experimented with that because the CIA was really interested in the brown sound.
They were.
Uh, So the gateway is all about experiencing the non-physical aspects of reality. And it mainly focuses on out-of-body experiences, remote viewing, all over like the evolution of one's consciousness, basically. And it's through these techniques that we experience the gateway to the hidden parts of reality. So
Whoa.
one of the reasons, one of the ways you're able to, I guess, experience the gateway or enter through the gate was through this specific sound design that he created called binaural beats. He found
Oh,
that
right.
he didn't create binaural beats, but he used binaural beats to
Right.
expedite OBEs. And he developed that into something he did patent called the hemisync meditation. And so this audio technology synchronizes brain waves on the left and the right side of the brain. and it makes the brain vulnerable to hypnosis. So by listening to this music, you pretty much put yourself in a like a hypnotic state, or at least like you're able, like a suggestive state where you could be put under hypnosis.
Yeah, I see.
And
Oh, I
so,
knew.
well, by the people that are working at the Monroe Institute or the CIA, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Luigi Scambarella of the Monroe Institute of the UK. That's another weird thing. There's a Monroe Institute like all over the world. He said binaural beats consist of two separate sine waves played independently in each ear. To square the difference, the brain then generates a frequency of its own. So if you play 100 hertz in your left ear and 104 hertz in the right, the brain cancels the competing sounds and leaves you with a 4 hertz pulse. And this can make you in a mind awake, body asleep state within 10 minutes. So this will allow you to experience the gateway for your mind. So here, let me play a little bit of this for you. Um, this is a binaural beat. You can find this on the internet. I mean, they're free, but you can find them on the internet. You hear that? Are you freeing your mind?
I'm gonna wait for the acid to kick in.
I'm hearing my left ear. I'm not really hearing the right.
I can hear both.
You hear both? All right, now I'm hearing both. Tripping. This would be weird though if you were taking a lot of LSD and just sitting
Be
in like a
fun.
dark room, just listening to this. Do you think you would like
Oh, you
experience
trip.
the gateway? You'd have an OPE.
It is quite relaxing, but that could be because I'm listening to this very early in the morning.
I wish they called it like OPM, like out of
ODB. The ODB sound.
ODB. Yeah.
We're all gonna give it
There
to
you go. So he created the use of that technology to put their subjects in a hypnotic state, which would facilitate an OBE or an out of body experience. Um, so the government was aware. The U.S. government was aware, like they're doing some weird things over there at the Monroe Institute. They're doing some strange experiments. You know, they're going through the gateway. They're drifting through the universe in their minds. We got to use this to spy on the Russians. You
God,
know,
the Russians, those pesky
it's the
Russians
Russians.
that won the war for us. We must go spy on them again.
So the Army sent a group of officers and scientists to go and learn about Monroe's Gateway experience. And so they sent Commander McDonnell. He volunteered to go himself, and he completed the 7-day psychic program at the Institute to see what it was all about. And at the end of it, he wrote a whole report they delivered to his commanding officer that said, his goal was to construct a scientifically valid and reasonably lucid model of how consciousness functions in order to put out of body states into the language of physical science to remove this whole stigma of any kind of like occult, or occultism associations.
Oh, what? That's all the fun stuff. Why are they taking the fun stuff away?
Well, because I think they were like, all this like hocus pocus, new age mumbo jumbo. They want to like, can you do this or not? Can you go out of your body and go steal some secrets from the Russians? And so, in the Department of Defense was just like, we want to know what happens, and so McDonnell suggested that the military were to experiment with astral projection. It could find a practical application for it. He also noted that it should be intellectually prepared to react to possible encounters with intelligent, non-corporeal energy forms when you go beyond the time-space boundaries. So, you got to be careful if you're doing this. But
does he mean aliens? You might see some aliens
well,
talking about.
It could just be, energies, malevolent energies, evil beings that we don't even know what they are.
Demons. I want it to be demons. I'm thinking it's demons.
And so because of this report, they launched Project Center Lane, and they recruited officers who underwent hypnosis and practiced reaching the astral plane, with the goal of learning foreign languages and going with documents referred to as habit control training.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they went through 250 Army intelligence candidates were selected. Of those candidates, 117 were interviewed under the impression that they were taking a survey. And so they were asking them specifically about with questions about like energy, astral planes, astral projection, psychoenergetics. And individuals who had objections to the military use of psychoenergetics were not considered. And then other people who were like overly enthusiastic about it were like, oh, yeah, this sounds rad. Let's do this. Were also not considered.
Oh.
So, yeah. So out of the 250, they managed to select about 30 who had the desired traits, such as open mindedness and intelligence, that made them suited for the program.
Do you know what that reminds me of? You know, on Ghostbusters, where Bill Murray is holding up the cards for the hot chick, and he's like, "Yeah, that's a star, honey. Yeah." I bet it was Bill Murray selecting the.
Well, I think you probably had a lot of people that were like, yeah, this sounds, it's 1979, 1978. I'm sure they're like, yeah, this sounds trippy. Let's do this.
They probably also wanted a week off base and, doing something
Yeah. And it
different
sounded,
as well.
it sounded fun. Um, so these intelligence officers that were selected were sent to the Monroe Institute for training. And that's where they would listen to like the hemisync audio and achieve these like, you know, um, these hypnotic states, so they could free their physical, their minds from their physical body. And so the institute's research associates would guide them into the astral plane, and that would heighten their sensory experiences, heal their bodies, allow them to travel into the past or the future, without having the restraints of a physical body. So one of the things that they did was remote viewing. And so this is a method of psychoenergetic perception. This is coined by the Stanford Research Institute, actually. And it's
Oh,
defined as the acquisition and description by mental means of information blocked from ordinary perception by distance, shielding, or time. So you get to like surpass all of those and see. It's like having the third eye in a
right.
sense. And so this was Project Stargate. Stargate was one of a number of remote viewing programs that were conducted under a variety of code names. I love the code names. It's one of my favorite things about the CIA. So there was Project Sunstreak, Grill Flame, and Center Lane.
Grill Flame.
Yeah.
That's like freaking Hank Hill named that one. Oh no, sorry, that's propane only. He wouldn't have named it that. This is funny.
INSCOM and SCANET by the CIA. And these were all efforts that were initiated to access like foreign programs in the field. So they could like conduct basic research into the phenomenon and then use remote viewing as an intelligence tool. So this is sort of what pretty much what the theme of Men Who Stare at Goats was. You'll
Yes.
harness your psychic abilities for government intelligence. So an operational unit employed remote viewers from the Monroe Institute to train and perform remote viewing intelligence gathering. And there's a research program that was also maintained separately from the operational unit who was actually using this to weaponize it, but also using it for intelligence gathering. They thought, so around like the late 60s, 1970s, US intelligence sources concluded that the Soviet Union was doing psychotronic research, which I'm sure they were. They said the Soviets were spending 60 million rubles a year on it, over 300 million by 1975. And some of the intelligence that they gathered said that the Soviet psychotronics had achieved breakthroughs. I mean, it was speculative,
Possibly.
but it was that whole thing. I mean, we were in an arms race with them. It's like if the Soviets are doing it, we got to do it.
In Soviet Russia, we become one. Not one become us. We are one. Soviet Russia.
So SCANET, which is called Scan by Coordinate, was the CIA program that was part of Project Stargate. This began around 1970. And they had the Stanford Research Institute in Menlo Park, California, was doing research there. Two scientists there, Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff, who were with the NSA, but then they joined the SRI, the Stanford Research Institute, and during this time, both of them were Scientologists and considered gifted individuals.
Isn't Scientology into this though?
Oh
They're into
yeah.
like having out of body and astral projections. It's a big part of Scientology, isn't
Psychic
it?
phenomena. Yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
totally. I think when so one of their gifted individuals who actually wrote a guide on coordinated remote viewing. He was a New York artist named Ingo Swann. He was an OT level 7 Scientologist. Once you get like up there, like OT level 7, 8, that's when they say you can control things with your mind, like you can do like telekinesis.
Is that Tom Cruise level?
I don't know what OT level he is, but the my boss at the company I worked at before had written books about Scientology. They said he was OT level 5
So he's like two steps away from being like
from like, well, I mean, I
being the
don't know if he
next
could do
man.
like, yeah, I don't know if he could if he's like Professor Xavier level, but he could probably do some out of body stuff. He could probably, listen to the binaural beats and trip
Trip
out a
out.
bit. So many of these SRI, Stanford Research Institute empaths, they're called, were all from the Church of Scientology. But they were taught, they showed potential and they were taught through psychic research to use their talents for psychic warfare. And that's where the CIA wanted to explore and see if they could obviously manipulate that. The minimum accuracy needed by the clients was said to be 65%. And they feel that through the training efforts, this accuracy level was usually exceeded by a lot. So if you're like had 65% success in psychic phenomena, then you're considered, you could be used for this program. But most of these people, like with a little bit of training, exceeded that. So yeah, the SRI program, I worked with the Monroe Institute, and they began using a small number of individuals who are seen as being particularly gifted in this area. And so that's where Ingo Swann here, the OT level 7 Scientologist, he laid the groundwork for the techniques of coordinate remote viewing, which is CRV. And it's a technique which viewers were asked what they saw specified like geographic coordinates. And so one of the programs here under Grill Flame was they conducted hundreds of remote viewing experiments carried out at the SRI like through 1986, and basically these experiments were spying on the Russians. But not only that, one of the most famous remote viewing experiments was they went back in time to the beginning of Mars and like saw civilizations on Mars. I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm gonna
Okay.
post I'm gonna post the CRV manual, which kind of walks you through how they do it. It's published now. I'm just gonna post a link to the PDF. But this allowed anyone to be trained to produce accurate, detailed target data. And they explain like their Ingo Swann and Dr. Harold Puthoff here explained in detail their instructions on how to do coordinate remote viewing. And so typically I'm just going to kind of gloss through this, but there's a viewer and there's a monitor. And so the individual who the monitor is the individual who assists the viewer. The viewer is the one who does the technique of remote viewing so they can see beyond the space and time. The monitor just pretty much gives them coordinates as to what they should be focusing on. And so there's a remote viewing session that happens where the viewer attempts to acquire and describe by mental means information about a designated site. So obviously they would say like, the Russians have these nuclear weapons in this one specific area. Where? And so they would have the remote viewer focus on coordinates that the monitor would give them and be able to tell them what they're seeing.
This is like a sniper team.
Sort of, it almost reminds me of like if you one of the like a latter day analogy is like the people with drones in a
Yeah.
sense.
Well, it's the
Instead of
same
having a
thing.
drone, yeah, it's like you're using your mind. So the session dynamic is kind of strange here, but the way it works is a remote viewer and a monitor seat themselves at opposite ends of a long table in a special remote viewing room equipped with paper and pens, a tape recorder, TV camera. Uh, the room is usually homogeneously colored, acoustic tiled, featureless. There's a light controlled by a dimmer, so environmental distractions completely minimized, so you can focus on things. And the monitor will give them geographic coordinates. in this case, the remote viewer. And the remote viewer is not given any other identifying information except for the coordinates provided by the monitor. And then they're able to focus and see what's at this coordinate. And
Sounds like
that's
such a long day, though, doesn't it? Really,
well, after
realistically,
the
it's a
session,
long
I mean,
day.
it could take hours. And after the session's over, the remote viewer and the monitor obtain specific information about the site in a picture or descriptive form, and then they can discuss what happened here. And so there's various stages that they go through the training. So there's like I think it's 7 stages actually. So at first they just do simple sites like a mountain range or a desert or an island like Hawaii. But then they go through more stage 2, more like sites of quality sensory value, describable through touch, taste, sound, or color, such as like a volcano and things like that. Then stage 3 sites, buildings, bridges, airfields. Stage 4, technical areas, military, research areas. Stage 5 is like a biomedical research facility, like a specific military research facility or a tank production plant. And stage 6 involves a training in direct 3-dimensional assessment and modeling of the site. So they can actually, like, at that point, they're projecting themselves. They're
They're
actually going in
there.
there and viewing it. Yeah. Um, it wasn't a very successful program.
Unsurprisingly, I was about to say, up until the part where they're wanting you to be there, I could do all of that just with imagination. It's not difficult, is it, to describe a volcano? I've seen enough images of volcanoes to sit here and describe to you what a volcano is with not
Well,
much
there's that, but I
difficulty.
mean, there were, some of these experiments that they conducted. There were some success rates. I mean, they were able to find where Gaddafi was hiding in Libya.
Yeah,
By most of remote viewing,
that's
they're
pretty
able to
cool.
find like various Russian like missile sites and things like that.
But
But
I
one of the
highly
thing,
doubt they went back in time and told us what civilization on Mars looks like. I
well,
am very
maybe
doubtful of that. Although I could
that's
tell you what it looked like right now if I wanted to.
that is the most famous remote viewing session. It was the remote mission to Mars. And so the goal of this particular session was to make a subject remotely view Mars in the year 1 million BC.
Okay.
And so and the interviewer, the monitor, read coordinates and verbal cues to a subject who claimed to see dust storms, alien structures, and even like an ancient alien race. So this guy was a member of Stargate, Joseph McMoneagle, and he was able to perceive details which were later confirmed by satellite imaging of a new type of Russian nuclear submarine that's being constructed. So this guy had been a trained remote viewer.
Okay.
So he was like probably the most famous one and definitely the one with the most success. But he was able to see this new type of nuclear submarine just based on the coordinates that were provided. He was able to see it in his mind, and that was confirmed by satellite imaging. The submarine was one of the largest ever built, and when he described its magnitude to military engineers, they were shocked. But turned out, using satellite imagery, they found out his impression was right. Like what he drew was correct. So, because he was in this key group of remote viewers, the CIA was like, "All right, let's try him with a secret experiment." So one day he was awoken from a nap. He's given a sealed envelope that couldn't be open until the end of this viewing session. That's what happened in Men Who Stare at Goats as well. Um, during which his monitor dictated coordinates for him to view. Soon, McMoneagle found himself astral projecting through the astral plane, through space, through time to an unfamiliar location. So there's a transcript that CIA released with other trove of documents that came out that explains. He writes in detail about what happened. McMoneagle went into his viewing state, like when he was viewing, and describing it. He described a world inhabited by a civilization that was in dire shape, like an apocalyptic um, civilization at this point.
Right.
He described seeing an infrastructure consisting of intersecting roads, aqueducts, channels, and pyramids on an unfamiliar planet. He said, "quote I just kept seeing very large people. They appear very thin and tall, but they're very large. wearing some kind of strange clothes. These thin and tall people lived in a series of structures built in the walls of massive canyons.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Yeah.
he
Not.
said it's like a rabbit warren, corners of rooms. They're huge. I don't feel like I'm standing in one. It's just really huge. Perception is that the ceiling is very high and the walls very wide. It describes a baffled McMonagall who struggled to report raw data to his colleagues, and they kept reminding him, "You got to stay focused on what they're trying to find." Sometimes it would take him like 30 minutes to maintain his focus. He eventually reports like contacting these living entities.
These
So his
slender
colleagues were,
men's.
yeah, the Slender
Yeah.
Men.
Yeah.
Colleagues tell him to initiate communication with them. He describes the situation as being critical on the brink of apocalypse. Um, Having purportedly sent members of their civilization on a mission to find a new planet to inhabit, these tall, shadowed figures appeared to be in a state of hibernation, awaiting the return of the search party. When he asks these entities if they can perceive him, they describe him as something of a hallucination. At the end
Okay.
of the viewing, they
Right.
allowed McMonagall to open the envelope to see where he's projected to Mars, 1 million years BC.
Now I'm not
Okay,
calling this
Kate,
bullshit, but I've
what do you
seen
say?
it smells a bit like bullshit to me.
It's reminded me of that. I'm blanking on the name of it, but that Disney movie that was a huge failure. John, it was
Which
Edgar
one?
Rice Burroughs. No, it was an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel. Johnny, the guy that goes to Mars. I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm sure people on
All I
the
can think of
YouTube
is
would know.
Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny
Oh,
Mnemonic.
Johnny
Which
Mnemonic.
yeah,
No,
with
that's
Keanu
with
Reeves.
Keanu
That's
Reeves.
a good picture though. Um,
No,
I don't
John.
know. I don't know which Disney film. Is it a
No,
recent one?
no, it came. Well, not that. Not that. John Carter. Did you ever see John
Oh
Carter?
no, because I heard it's terrible.
Oh, it was a huge failure for Disney. But John Carter was an Edgar Rice Burroughs book, the guy who wrote Tarzan. And and it's an old book, and in it the Martians live in like a warren of caves, like a rabbit warren. It's like these holes in caves. So I'm thinking this guy might have read the book John Carter,
And imagined
and
it.
that's what he was
I'm
seeing.
also thinking, like, if they're giving you coordinates for 1 million years BC, Mars isn't going to be where Mars is it?
Well,
Hey,
does it
look,
matter
right,
though?
I'm just a cum scientist. I am not like a planetary
When
scientist.
you're traveling through space and time, Kate, it doesn't matter what your human maps say.
Yeah, dude. So I was like totally on Mars, dude, and they had these Slendermans. Oh my god, man.
Well, it's kind of weird. I don't think he was. I mean, maybe it was just his imagination, but it was very vivid, and there's transcripts of it. But yeah, ultimately, it was fruitless. Nothing really came of Project Stargate, and they spent over 2 decades on it and $20 million on Stargate and some of those other projects. With $11 million budget from the mid 1980s to the early 1990s.
Oh
So
wow,
it's
still going.
recent. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's recent. There are over 40 personnel serving the program at various times, including 23 trained remote viewers. At its peak during the mid 1980s, the program included as many as 7 full-time viewers and many like analytical and support personnel. So it ran from 1990, or there are psychics that worked there at the CIA from 1990 through 95 when the program was eventually just folded. Um, but I mean, during that period, though, from the 80s up until 1995, they conducted hundreds of intelligence collection projects, thousands of remote viewing sessions. Notable successes were said to be 8 martini results.
Oh, I love
That's
a
what they called them,
martini. I love gin and vodka martinis, both of
where they
them.
were so-called martini results because the remote viewing data was so mind-boggling that everyone had to go out and drink 8 martinis to recover
Hey, I like it.
after doing it. But there were some successes that were reported. Our friend here, Joe McMonagall, who saw the Slender Men, he was a retired special project intelligence officer for several different branches of the military. Um, but yeah, I mean, he described the submarine, he described Mars. He described and correctly described an airfield with a large crane at one end of the field, The airfield at the given map coordinates was a Soviet nuclear testing area at Semipalatinsk, which is a possible underground nuclear testing site. He found that just from coordinates. Um, a remote viewer is tasked to locate a Soviet Tu-95 bomber, which has crashed somewhere in Africa, and he did within several miles of the actual wreckage.
Okay.
Surprising. Um, in September 1979, the NSA asked about a Soviet submarine that was under construction. Another one, very large one, new submarine with 18 to 20 missile launch tubes. They found this one within 100 miles. So they were able to locate this, another one through satellite imagery. There's an assignment included trying to hunt down Gaddafi before the 1986 bombing of Libya. They found his general location, but he wasn't injured in the bombing. So the CIA put that much trust in this remote viewer. They're like, all right, this psychic weirdo over here says that that's where Gaddafi is. Let's bomb him. He was there, but he wasn't injured. In February 1988, the DIA asked where Marine Corps Colonel William Higgins was being held in Lebanon. So he was a hostage. And a remote viewer stated that the Higgins was in a specific building in a specific South Lebanon village. And a released hostage later said that Higgins was in that building at that time.
Right. I'm not
So,
saying that I don't believe, but I am saying that I don't believe.
There's a remote viewer saw that a KGB colonel that was caught spying in South Africa had been smuggling information using a pocket calculator containing a communications device. They told that to South African intelligence. What'd they find? A pocket calculator
with secrets inside. Device.
They even used remote viewers during the first Gulf War, who suggested the whereabouts of Saddam Hussein at the time, though there was never any verification if they found him at those locations. But remote viewers did find Scud missiles and secret chemical warfare plants.
To be fair, in the Gulf War, that wasn't hard, was it? They weren't exactly secret.
They tried in 1994. They tried to use remote viewers, one of the last missions here, to find plutonium in North Korea, but there's no real success there.
No, you will find starving people though in North
so
Korea.
It was around 1995 that they asked the CIA to conduct a retrospective review of the program and see, should we keep spending millions of dollars on this? The final recommendation by the American Institute for Research here was to terminate Stargate. And the CIA concluded that there is no case in which ESP had provided useful data used to guide intelligence operations.
I kind of think it's a case of, are these people, obviously we all absorb information around us, and these people are working in places where they're going to hear all about this stuff all live long day, and then they're going to go into a relaxed state and they're going to reread the information, are they not?
But they're not given, but they don't know what's in these envelopes. The monitors.
Well, they're given coordinates, aren't they? They're told to.
Well,
I want you
saying,
to view
what do you
here
see at this location?
Yeah, and I think if you are in a very relaxed state, you can read people. It's kind of like, what's he called, Darren Brown. He can do that. He can read people.
Oh, like
train yourself
like the psychics
to read
that
people.
Like the charlatan psychics.
Well, he's not a psychic. He can just read people, which I think if you train yourself to do that, you can do that.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of
these people are doing.
Well, the TV psychics do that. Like they read people in the audience, and that's how they make their predictions.
Can do it, and it feels like this is maybe what these people are doing. They're reading the clues that the others are, unsubconsciously.
Well, telling them what they want to hear, maybe,
and doing that as well.
Skeptics have said that Stargate and other programs of its ilk were diversionary tactics to steer the Soviets in the wrong direction. It's the same kind of thing. They're like, the U.S. is putting all this money into this, so maybe they were trying to get the Soviets to do something similar. And the logic being that if the U.S. could subversively convince the Soviets that they were having success in phony psychic programs, then the Soviets would waste their time and resources by doing similar programs and not building nuclear weapons.
God, this smear campaign that America had against the Soviets just went so far. They hated them.
Well, I think the Soviets hated the U.S. too.
I think it was mutual.
Yeah, I think it was definitely mutual. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they say the evidence here, they say there is evidence, and it's obviously conflicting. Um, it's interesting. I mean, I think the CIA sessions confirm that, astral projection was something that exists.
I don't think it
I mean, a
confirms it.
remote
No,
viewing. Well, it doesn't confirm. It suggests that it's something that exists. It
could.
was worth researching. You
Yes,
know,
definitely. But I don't think it's confirmed it. And there's no conclusive evidence there that to me, like, it's not like Judge Anderson and Judge Dredd, where they've looked into the future and they can place themselves there. To me, none of that seems to be going on. It all seems quite common sensey. It's
Kate,
like
how do you know what Martians on Mars look like in 1 million BC?
I could think of what they looked like by myself with my own imagination. Thank you very much.
You
Stay
think
out
they
my
look like
mind.
Keanu Reeves or something?
Oh, I wish a whole planet of Keanu Reeves looking aliens.
So I checked it out. The Monroe Institute's actually still operating and selling its Hemi Sync program today. Like you can go to monroeinstitute.org and you could sign up for one of their programs.
How much do they cost
It's like $1,600, but it's like
for
four
a week?
days or something. No, I
Yeah,
think it's like 4 days. Oh, it's more for the 7 day program, but they will teach you how to have an out of body experience and how to control astral projection. I think it's all Scientologists personally.
it sounds Scientology. Like,
You know what I was also looking at? Because remote viewing, I mean, a lot of people put stock into this. I think it's all new age mumbo jumbo. But
okay, Dad.
there's a application, a gaming app on your iPhone called the RV Tournament, the remote viewing tournament. It's a game app that teaches remote viewing techniques and lets players use skills they develop, psychic skills, to compete for financial prizes. So each
Right.
day's round presents a new remote viewing challenge. I mean, you can download this app. It's called the RV Tournament. You'll be asked to quiet your mind and set an intention to view the target image that you'll be shown at the end of the round. After spending a few minutes noting or sketching any impressions you receive, much like the remote viewers at the Project Stargate, you'll be asked to choose between two images, the one that best matches your impression of the target image. So when the round's finished, you'll be shown the correct target image, and if you're close to it, you'll win like actual money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called the RV Tournament. There's several different remote viewing apps like that, but this one's probably the most popular. But that's the thing. I mean, people still practice remote viewing. They still practice, claim to practice astral projection, say it works. They also practice lucid dreaming. And people say, people often confuse astral projection with lucid dreaming, but there is a distinction between the two. Um, Astral projection is probably somewhere between a lucid dream and a near death experience, I would say.
Yeah.
Kind of like an out of body. It's a sensation of separating from your physical self, keeping your mind awake while your body is asleep. Whereas lucid dreaming involves experiencing an internal, you know, internally in your own mind, dreaming experience and being partially conscious while being in that dream. So
Well,
you're not alert, you're not awake, physically awake. You're dreaming, but you're in control of that
controlling the
dream.
dream. Well, I'm a
Yeah.
lucid dreamer, and I'm not a. You said like it's something you can practice. I've never had to practice it. I've done it my whole life. So it's just something that happens to me. They're not
Well,
as
it's
common
rare
as when
though.
I was
It's
younger.
rare. It says
Yeah.
one in every two people has had at least one lucid dream, but only 10% of people experience them once a month or more.
Oh, really? Well, I
So
have
how often do you experience them?
about twice a month. It's usually
So you're in the 10%.
hormonal as well. I get them way more just before my period when my hormones are fucking crazy. I usually have like I'll
You
have a
have
lucid
lucid
dream.
period dreams.
Lucid period dream. Well, it's
Are you a
PMD.
tampon in the dream?
Never, never.
I've
That's
had
like
that dream
Prince.
before.
That's Prince Charles,
Bloody.
isn't it? Prince Charles when he wanted to be Camilla's tampon. But
Yeah, I
I've done it
forgot
my
about
whole
that.
life, and you are in control of your dream. I'll often die, and I'll come back, and I'll see my dead body, and I can interact with myself, and it's yeah.
But
You
do you
feel out of
recognize
sorts.
though? But do you recognize that you're in a dream?
Yeah, because I can control it, and there's loads of times where I'm like if something's not going right for me in the dream, this is when I'm dreaming as myself, because I can also lucid dream where I can be animals. But if I'm myself, then I can change the scenario, change the situation, to keep it the way I want it. But sometimes I just like to watch myself die. Why not?
Well, well, they say sometimes that I mean, you can't control the entire dream, but you can control certain aspects of it. Although that can be enhanced with training. Like you can be a trained lucid dreamer.
Yeah, there are definitely techniques you can do to make so you can have more and more and more control of your lucid dreams. I've kind of never bothered because I just think of them as fun things that happen. If I'm very stressed out as well, I'm much more likely to lucid dream.
Have you ever had a lucid wet dream?
I wank in my sleep. I'm not gonna even, which is also considered rare for women to wank in their sleep,
Yep.
but I
But I
do it.
mean, like, have you ever had a lucid dream where you're controlling it and it's just like, full on gangbang, like 20 cops?
I've had sex with Elvis in the back of a
Elvis
Cadillac.
in the dream?
In the
Wow.
dream, in the back of a Cadillac, and then this
Fat
is
Elvis or skinny Elvis?
skinny Elvis, and
Oh,
this is totally
bummer.
Freudian.
Lame.
Yeah, we got out, we opened the caddy. Because I remember all my lucid dreams very vividly. It's as if they've happened in real life. In fact, the first ever lucid dream I was when I got run over. I got run over by a red Mini Cooper and I got pushed into a blue estate car. And about a week later, I was saying to my mum, I was like, "Oh, you must remember when I broke my leg and my ribs." And she was like, "You've never broken a bone." I was like, "When I was in the car crash, you dumb bitch." And she was like, "No, that's never happened." And she had to sit me down and explain to me what dreams were. But it was only like a while after that I realized that most people don't have vivid dreams like that.
But did you experience like pain in the dream?
Yeah, I had been run over and then I had to go to hospital and it was all about being in hospital. But I just remember the impact of when the cars hit me and just being on the ground and like all the craziness of it all. But then as gotten older, I can control them a lot more when I'm in them. But you are in a weird half awake, half asleep state. And the whole next day after I've had one, I'm not here, man. I'm a bit
So,
like discombobulated.
so back to Elvis here. Did you control where the money shot went? Like, did he pull out, blow in your face, do it on your tits? Like, what would happen here?
He did come in my mouth. Elvis came in my mouth. But when we opened up the caddy, it's because we were at like a drive-in movie. It was a public place, and we weren't meant to be having sex. And when we opened up the Cadillac, there was loads of snakes on the ground. Very Freudian.
Yeah,
And
that's weird.
yeah, very
I'm
Freudian.
gonna look into the symbolism there. But yeah, so people can you can learn the techniques of lucid dreaming. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Also the techniques of astral projection. And there's like a lot of I was doing a little research today on it on Reddit. There's all these subreddits. One called the Astral Army, which is a
Cool.
focal point for a lot of the psychically curious to go there and try to learn how to do out of body experience or out of body missions. Like they try to encourage each other to do like missions to like the Pentagon or Wuhan to find out, the source of COVID.
To find the
Um,
bastard who ate that bat. To find him.
exactly. The Redditors are going to find them. Or you can go to people gone to like Skinwalker Ranch, you know,
Cool.
through astral
See,
projection.
that's where I would go. I would go to there, or I would like go back in time and see if Lizzie Borden really did kill her dad and stepmother. I would go and do things like that. I wouldn't go to fucking Mars. Who gives a shit about Mars? Like,
You'd probably just go back in time and wank to all the sexy Nazis.
yes, like Mengele. Oh, do you know what? I'd go and find out who actually did kill the Black Dahlia, just for my
You'd be
own
an
interest.
astral pervert.
And astral
Um,
pervert.
some of the Redditors, though, said that they tried to infiltrate the Pentagon and there were astral Green Beret esque type guards that blocked them.
That's pretty neat if that's true.
So now astral projection has never really been proven in any kind of scientifically controlled way. I mean, we talked about remote viewing sessions that were done by the Scientologists at the SRI, and then some of the other researchers over at the Monroe Institute, but it's never really been proven. Whereas lucid dreaming has been scientifically proven. There's a recent study just this past year where researchers had actual conversations involving questions and giving math problems to lucid dreamers, people who were aware that they were dreaming and they were answering questions and solving problems in their dreams.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, you could do that. You can
Yeah.
definitely talk it because it does feel like you are awake, but you know you're asleep, but you're awake. It is a very strange feeling, but it's fun.
Well, so the findings here from 4 labs and 36 participants suggest that people can receive and process complex external information while you're sleeping, which
Okay.
is just, hard to fathom, but it's interesting. Because you always think that the mind's in a restful state because the mind needs to be in a restful state. But the fact that your brain can still function in this restful state, it
Well,
makes me think it could be compartmentalized.
that's like a form of studying as well, though, isn't it? Like I did that when I was doing my exams at school. I like recorded myself
You
saying all
just put it
this
on.
shit, and then yeah, and then I would fall asleep listening to it, and I still do that now. I fall asleep to Steve MRE, and I've probably picked up million millions of hours worth of knowledge about fucking MREs.
God, I hope people don't fall asleep listening to this show.
I feel sorry for them if they do.
So there are 4 independent teams in France, Germany, and the Netherlands, and the United States. Um, they use like two-way communication during the dreams, and they asked questions and had the sleepers solve math problems, and they had never had any training.
They were
The
just
only
like
well,
me.
some of them there were okay. I take it back. There was a group that were experienced lucid dreamers, but then there were some who had never experienced a lucid dream, but would remember like 1 or 2 dreams every week. And then there are a couple of people who might have had a lucid dream, but they
Okay.
weren't sure about it. So there were like 3 different groups here. And so what they did is they trained participants to recognize when they're dreaming by explaining how lucid dreaming works and demonstrating cues like sounds, lights, or finger tappings that would be present while the dreamer slept. And the cues would signal to the participants that they were dreaming. And the sleepers were told to signal that they had entered a lucid dream and answer questions by moving their eyes and face in particular ways. Like, for example, moving their eyes 3 times, like opening their eyes, moving them 3 times to the left. So you knew that they were actually responsive.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's really weird. And
Yeah.
so as they fell asleep, the scientists monitored their brain activity, their eye movement, and facial muscle contractions, common indicators of REM sleep. And so they had like helmets on with like wires. Um, and out of a total of 57 sleeping sessions, 6 individuals signaled that they were actually lucid dreaming in 15 of them. And so the researchers asked the dreamers simple yes or no questions or math problems like 8 minus 6. To answer, the dreamers used signals that they had been taught before falling asleep, which included like smiling or frowning or moving their eyes in different directions to indicate a sum. So they'd move it to the right like 3 times or 4 times to
That's
answer the
amazing.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in the German lab, they had them move their eyes in patterns that match Morse code.
Oh, crazy. That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, out of the 158 questions of the lucid dreamers, they responded correctly 18.6% of the time. Dreamers gave the wrong answer to only 3.2% of the questions. 17.7% of their answers were not clear. 60% of the questions got no response.
Right. There's some good odds there.
Yeah, so it's really weird. So after the session was done, the dreamers would wake up and were asked to describe their dreams. Some remembered the questions as part of the dream. So one dreamer reported math problems coming out of a car radio.
Cool.
Another was at a party when he heard a researcher interrupting his dream, like a narrator in a movie, to ask him whether or not he spoke Spanish.
This is
Isn't that,
great.
isn't that strange?
Yeah, I like
So
it.
the key difference here between lucid dreaming and astral travel is how each state is reached. And that's the thing. I'm thinking lucid dreaming is something I think is worthy of scientific research because I think there's a lot of benefits to it. I mean,
Well,
they say that
scientists still don't even know why we dream. Like, so I can see like why you would want to investigate stuff like this because we still don't know a lot about the brain. Human beings, we all like to think that we know it all, but we don't. And stuff like this really does intrigue me because, especially because I can do it. So I'm like, I do want to know more about it.
But I think the thing is, so you can use this lucid dreaming experimentation techniques to like influence people's dreams and help people like get through trauma or anxiety or depression. I mean, there might be like therapeutic reasons to do this. Whereas astral projection just
Yeah.
kind of seems a bit, ridiculous.
Bit
I mean,
daft.
it I don't see much of a scientific basis behind it. But
Yeah.
but people say, they're both I guess they're both psychic phenomena that's worth looking into. So lucid dream occurs after one's already asleep when the conscious mind awakens during a dream. Astral traveling, astral projection is an actual out of body experience, an OBE that can be accomplished while in a state of wakefulness. So you don't have to be sleeping to
Okay.
astrally project. A person's soul fully separates from the physical body to merge with its astral projection. And so experienced astral travelers are aware of the separation and they know how to return to their earthly physical form. So, real quick, because we got to wrap this up here, lucid dreaming. So, there's various techniques you can do. One of the most common techniques is the wake back to bed technique, the WBTB. I don't know if
Okay.
you've done this one, but you can learn how to lucid dream by using a technique known as reality testing. And so you practice reality testing throughout the day so that the mind develops a habit of checking whether or not you're actually dreaming. So here's a few tips on how to reality test and that you can ultimately use when you're dreaming. So check mirrors to see if you can notice anything strange about your reflection. You're supposed to do this throughout the day. Look at the clock to see if time is moving normally. Test solid objects to see if your hand can push through them.
Hmm.
Do you do this on a regular basis? Okay.
No, no, I don't. I don't need to.
So
It
in
just
your day to
happens.
day in your day to day life, keep practicing these reality testing techniques, and then when the sun sets and you're ready to sleep, set your alarm for the middle of the night. So go to sleep like you normally do. Wake up in the middle of the night. This technique's known as wake back to bed. Simply fall asleep as usual. When the alarm goes off, you wake up. Read for 30 minutes.
Oh, no one's. Who's doing that? Come
This
on.
technique is designed to help you maintain consciousness as you fall back to sleep, priming the mind for lucid dreaming. It's the most positive technique for doing this.
God, I can't believe that works for some people. I'm so angry when I get woken up. If somebody was then to shove a book in front of my face, I'd be like, "Fuck you."
You don't think you just like your alarm will go off and just start reading? It's
I
probably
didn't.
because
I didn't do
you
it.
drank a bottle of wine before you went to bed.
Doesn't everyone?
Now, astral projection is a bit different. And there are various techniques to do astral projection. I went to a couple of different sites here about it, just trying to figure out the most common technique. The most common technique to astrally project is the rope technique. Now, advanced. So some people like the beginning astral projection. You kind of like can see yourself outside of your body, but you can't really go anywhere. You just see yourself outside of your body. But experienced astral travelers can venture, beyond your ceiling and into other worlds. But be cautious. All right. Be
Ooh.
cautious during astral travel because your soul can become stranded on the astral plane, unable to return to your physical body. So I just want to give a disclaimer here. Sick and Wrong is not responsible for any souls out there trapped in the astral plane. All right. You've been warned. I'm
Yeah,
not going
we've
to bring
already
you
got
back.
enough curses upon us. We don't need some out of spirits coming after us as well.
So here's the rope technique. That's how it goes down. So make sure you're comfortable. All right. Just get in a place. You won't be disturbed. Try to leave enough time so you don't have to think about anything at all. You don't have to be nervous. You don't have to go anywhere. Get comfortable. Get a beanbag chair. Light a few candles. Burn some fresh cut sage. You know, if it's during the day, get an eye mask to block the light. They say the best times to do astral projection is early in the morning when the sun is rising or right before you go to bed.
Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
It's because
when
your body's still sort of in sleep mode at those times.
yeah.
Number two, feel yourself relax. It's best to be in a relaxed state of mind for astral travel. So you might want to meditate for 10 minutes so your consciousness is open and receptive. Focus on your breathing. Most people have been taught to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth, but you got to do the opposite. In through the
Oh,
mouth, out through the nose. So breathe deeply in the mouth, slowly exhale through the nose. Helps move the energy in your body.
helps give you chapped lips as well.
Maybe put on some binaural beats, you know, that might
Sweet,
help.
yeah.
Well, it might help. It might, you might get into like a meditative state. Allow yourself to almost fall asleep. So don't be like super tired because then you might actually really fall asleep. But you want to be physically relaxed while maintaining a wakeful mind. You start noticing if you get to this stage, you get to this point, you'll notice your senses heightening. They call this the vibration stage.
Are you
You
you're
might,
just describing what Buddhists do as well. This is what Buddhists do
I
for
don't
12
know.
hours a
I don't know
day.
anything
Well, it
about
is.
Buddhists. They
This is what
meditate. Do they get the
they
vibration
meditate
stage?
to try and achieve nirvana.
Maybe they astrally project.
That's
Maybe that's
apparently
what
what
they're
it
doing.
is. I want to know at which point do you string the noose over the rafters? Was
Oh,
that
that's
stage
that's a little
3?
later. That's
Is it
later
later?
when your
It
soul is
sounds all
trapped.
the build up.
But yeah, so you might this is when you might see weird visual sounds. Your whole body is like vibrating. And so you just go with it. You go with it. Just, it's almost like you're super stoned or or you ate an edible and you're freaking out, but just go with it. Go with the flow.
This is
And
me
then
tonight.
visualize a silver rope. Imagine a rope dangling from the ceiling just within your reach. And then attempt to grab the rope.
With
But
your
instead of
neck.
just grabbing it physically, you grab it with your mind.
I
One
really thought you were
limb,
going to say neck then.
one limb at one time. Like you get one limb over the other and just allow the rest of your body to follow as you climb up the rope. And once you get at this point, the vibrations have died down. You roll out of bed, just move out and you're in your 3D body. It's simple as that.
As simple as that,
Simple as
mate.
that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then you can go anywhere.
Move
You
to the
can.
other end of the room, watch your body sleeping and on your water bed, walk around a bit,
The waterbed.
look in the mirror, touch stuff. You're in the astrals, all right? You're in the astral zone. You're in the planes.
Right,
And
right,
then once you're
right.
done, you can snap back into your body, all right?
Would you touch yourself?
Or would I like masturbate in the astral plane?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Of
Would you not
course
want?
you'd think
Would
about
you not?
that.
Well, come on. I bet
Oh,
it's
wait, you're
happened.
saying if I was in the astral plane, would I jerk myself
So,
off, my physical self off?
yeah. Why not?
I guess I never
Would you
thought
not like
about
just
that.
give it a prod, just to be like, this is because it'd be so fucking weird. You'd give it a go, wouldn't you?
Well, would I blow myself or would I jerk myself off?
No, that's a bit gay bumpy if you start blowing yourself. But you can
If I
like,
blew myself, how would
yeah.
that be gay? It would be just me doing it. It's like masturbation. Are you saying masturbation's gay?
No, because it's yourself. But like, when a dick goes into a mouth and you're both the same gender, it's a bit gay, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but
it
it's
would be
your dick.
gay.
It's not someone else's
This is
dick.
kind of like the question of, is it gay if you slept with your
If you
clone?
or if you suck your own dick.
If you
Yeah.
suck your own dick, it's a bit gay. So it would be a bit gay if you were to suddenly get on your knees
Slept with your own clone.
as your astral body and start blowing your real life body. Would there be, where would the cum go? Because you're an astral body, so would it just be like the cum would just fly in the air?
I don't know. Would you have astral cum? There's a lot of
Astral
questions
cum.
here. But that's the thing. People practice and you can stay in the astral plane and wake yourself off while you're sleeping.
These are the questions I want answered by science. That science aren't
Maybe
answering.
that's what a nocturnal emission is.
It's your astral body
Yeah, that's
blowing
what I'm saying.
you.
Your astral body waking your physical self off.
Yeah, it could be sleep
I don't
wanking.
know.
It happens
But be
to me.
careful, people. Be careful. Because in the astrals, there's a lot of things out there. There's low frequency entities. There are
Oh,
creatures that may want to seduce you.
oh,
Succubus like
succubus and
entities.
incubus. Yes.
Yeah, they want to have sex with you or leech off your energy like parasites. You know, there's sometimes you might get into a soul trap, and that's where you
Soul
can be.
train.
Yeah, that's where you can be stuck. You can be stuck in a soul trap
Is that
forever.
where the soul train takes you to the soul trap?
It can happen. Having a negative mindset will lower your frequency, attracting these evil beings that hang out by the soul traps. You got to be really careful about this.
Maybe I don't sleep wank. Maybe is it an incubus for a woman or is it a succubus? Is it an
Well,
incubus?
you know who it probably is? Jimmy Savile. They say Jimmy Savile roams the astral planes, just
See,
groping kids.
I'm in my 30s. Jimmy said I'm way too old for Jimmy Savile. I'm at least like 30
He
years
might
too
be going
old.
back in time.
Oh my god, so I was a very good-looking child, so it wouldn't surprise me.
You've been warned, people. Be careful in the astral plane, all right? We're not responsible for what happens.
No.
But I do hope everybody has a lucid wet dream. Why not?
Yeah, go for it. Why not? It's
I'm going to
your
have
lucid
one.
dream.
Charlize Theron, Scarlett Johansson, little ScoJo action.
Scojo.
Why not? People, this is episode 786 here. Sticking around. Got some news stories coming up next. Got some phone calls a little later in the show. But first, here's a word about our Patreon page. That's ridiculous,
Nice.
Kate. That's ridiculous.
What? You having sex with Charlize Theron is very ridiculous. She would
It
never
is.
be interested in you. She's one of my girl crushes, though. Charlize.
Yeah, no, she would never be interested in me.
More Charlize than I think Charlize is way hotter than Scarlett Johansson.
I think who do you think's hotter, Prince Philip or Prince William?
As a young man, or do you mean Prince Philip now?
No.
Now, while he's dead, yeah, I'll shag the corpse over William.
I want to know what do the listening audience think about Philip?
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah.
What do you guys think of Prince Philip?
Time traveling astral nonce.
There probably are time traveling astral nonsense. You got to be careful about that. Yeah, what do you guys think of Prince Philip? Charlize says nuts, but I would let her suck on my nuts. Why not? Why not? I think my brain prolapsed from that. Jesus. It's a lot of craziness. Prince Philip, I guess he is dead, but who's your favorite royal then? That's what I want to know. Ooh, probably isn't. He is a zombie, actually. All right, all right. Prince Philip is my favorite royal by far. I think the other ones suck. King Ralph. I think Donald Trump's probably our royal. Actually, I would say our royal family, the American royal family, is the Kardashians. Yeah. I don't get why have the royals. Why pay for them? What do they do for you? That's my question.
They do fuck all.
Yeah, they do fuck all. I mean, and how much do you guys have to pay?
I'm not exactly sure how much of our tax actually goes to those fucking cunts.
Yeah, but do you think it's like over
King Ralph?
King Ralph's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time. Yeah, I don't get. Yep. How much do you guys have to pay to the royals every paycheck? That's what I'd like to know. So, what was the deal with Prince Charles and Camilla's tampon?
Do you not remember this?
Now, he said he wanted to be her tampon.
Yeah, it was like secret. A phone call got recorded, and he said he wanted to be a tampon, all warm and snug up inside her. It was scandalous, darling. Scandalous of the press.
It's kind of amazing. All right. You got your story.
Oh shit, yeah, that. I'm a daze.
You out of it today?
Yeah, I'm tired.
Out of it. Well, it's $3.50 a week per royal. No way. £3 or £3 50 per royal.
Is that all the royals, including like Sarah Fergie and all that lot as well, and all their daughters, or is that just the main royals? Like, so surely it'll drop now that Harry and Meghan aren't royals, and Prince Philip is dead.
Oh, yeah, there's one less royal, but fucking yeah, but fucking William and what's her name have two kids, right? So
Yes.
there's two more that you got paid for.
Fuck. They don't even actually bring in that much tourism money because it's not like when
Well,
people
now
come
they're
and
not.
see that, they're coming to see Buckingham Palace. It's not like the Queen's there going like
Well,
there every day. They're coming to see a fucking empty building.
why isn't the Queen opening up the country?
Because the Queen does what the people. She like would never use her power. She never uses her power ever.
Hmm.
So, well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's also stupid to open up the country D until we've all had our vaccines.
All right, you have to explain what Gino's saying. They're on what? Bog off?
Oh, do you
What's
not
that
know what
mean?
bug off is? Buy one
What does
get
that
one
mean?
free.
Oh, buy one get one free.
Bug off.
You guys
Bug
call
off
that bog
offer.
off?
A bug off offer. Yeah.
Never
There's
heard that
much to
before.
learn about this country.
You guys have some of the oddest slang.
How we no, it's an anagram, isn't it? Yeah,
An
buy one get one
acronym.
free. An acronym, that's it.
Yeah. Buy one, get one free. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bog off.
I'm dumb today.
I'm about to do a real dumb story. I gotta pee
Uh-huh.
first.
£1.24 each taxpayer is a freaking lot of us paying that just for them to live and to maintain their houses. Dickheads. Well, I'd like them all to die. All to die in one fell swoop. What am I doing? The Queen dried out in her 50s. Like, when's the last time the Queen and Prince Philip will have had sex? Probably in the 50s. They've essentially been divorced all this time. The benefit scroungers. Ash. It's people who have kids, man. Don't have kids. I've been maintaining for years that the people who don't have kids should be the ones who get the tax breaks because then it'll encourage people not to have kids.
Right. All right. What are you giggling at?
Still, all the men's, all the
The
men's in the
men's.
chat. Yeah, I'm super tired today.
It's a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
have to have
men's.
a fucking nap after this.
All right. You can have a lucid dream.
Maybe. I never control them. They just happen.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes.
So, first story we have here has to do with two brothers who slaughtered their family and left behind a bizarre suicide note.
Oh.
Did you hear about this one?
Exciting. I've heard about this one, but I didn't. I haven't seen the bizarre suicide note. I'm excited.
It's one of the best suicide notes I've heard in a long time.
Is it as good as Israel Keys? Because he left the best suicide note of all time.
Israel Keys did leave a good one, but this one I
His
would
was
say
amazing. His is like a work of art.
I would say this one is I don't know, this one's unique in the sense that it references a popular American sitcom.
Oh my word! I cannot wait for this.
Two Texas brothers accused of slaughtering four family members before killing themselves said they easily got weapons because gun control is, quote, a joke. They're right.
Lol.
And they were sent off the rails from watching TV's The Office.
The American Office or the British Office?
Well, at first I was wondering about that if it's the UK or the English version because
There's a difference. They're totally
there is a
different
difference. I mean,
shows.
I personally, I've always preferred the UK version because it's the first one I saw. But then I think I talked about this on the show not too long ago. But then, I don't know, maybe like 2 years ago, my ex was a huge fan of the American Office. She's like, "Well, I'll show you why The Office is good." And so she like cherry picked a bunch of episodes because I mean there's like what 12 seasons or something or
There's
nine
too many
seasons,
seasons.
9,
It
right?
goes on for far too long, but there's
Yeah,
some
yeah, it's
great.
crazy.
It's got heart and soul, The American Office. It does.
Well, she showed me like a handful of episodes and I was like, actually this is kind of funny. They do their own thing. It's
They
not like a
do.
direct replica of the UK version,
Yeah, and that's why it's good.
but I still prefer the UK version. It's hilarious. Um, in a rambling 12-page note, initially posted to his Instagram page, Farhan Towhid, 19, said that he and his 21-year-old brother, Tanvir Towhid, were united in manic depression and all day TV watching sessions of the US office.
All day, every day, just nonstop.
First and foremost, the most important show in our lives is The Office.
That's so
Farhan
funny.
wrote in the note. He said, "Hey everyone." He also wrote, the note started actually. The beginning of the note was, "Hey everyone, I just killed myself and my family." But
Oh, they could
in the
have opened with a
note,
quote. I thought they would
yeah,
have
no,
opened
that's
with
what I was
a
about to
quote.
say, like a Steve Carell quote or something.
A Dwight. I would have gone with a
Dwight,
Dwight.
yeah, maybe Dwight.
A
Yeah.
Dwight quote.
But yeah, it started. The note started, "Hey everyone, I killed my family, myself and my family." But then he starts getting into some details about The Office. The Steve Carell comedy was one of 4 very important issues I encountered throughout my life. The guy's only 19, keep in mind.
Okay. Right.
Um, he then ranted at length about how the show should have ended when Michael left because it
I
eventually
agree.
just went to shit. And he was complaining about the plot and the character developments just enraged him. Like where they went after. What was that? What season was that?
Oh god, I think he left in like the eighth season,
I think it
ninth
was a
season.
7th
But
season,
I
actually.
totally agree. Even though I do love James Spader, and I think he does a great job as being the Lizard King. Yeah, when Michael Scott left the office, the show was dead. They cut it off, and I don't know why they carried it on.
Well, did he leave to do Anchorman? Is that what happened?
No, this is like kind of after Anchorman, isn't it? I think he
I
just
thought,
left
why,
because
why
he'd
did he
done
leave? He was
fucking
just,
telly for 9 seasons. That's like a hard on the body. It's like not easy to film a telly show.
but didn't he return in the final season or did he just return the final episode?
I think he returns in like the
I never
final
watched that
episode or
far.
something. Yeah, I
So
kind
he
of like
wasn't, he didn't
forget.
return.
No, he
Did
never.
you watch the
Michael
whole
Scott.
thing?
Yeah, Michael Scott never returns properly. It's like James Spader, and they had Will Farrell and like a bunch of other people, but it's like it's pretty shitty. I've forgotten the last couple of seasons. Even the last episode, I don't think is a very good last episode.
Who, well, you'd agree here with Towhead. Who was the Spader is only in season 8, right?
It
So
was
Carell left, Spader replaced him. Then did Spader leave?
yeah. Then Spader gets fired, and then I can't. Oh, it's Catherine Tate for a while as well. That's shitty. Spader's good though.
Okay, so I can see why this guy would be getting upset here
I'm
and
with him.
contemplate murdering his family.
Yeah, I'm with
Um,
him on both these issues.
the family might have been like, "No, there's no problem here. We enjoy James Spader. We enjoy Catherine Tate. We just enjoy the show." And I bet you the boys were like, "You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
There's no
kill you to
show
save
without
this.
Steve Carell." He goes on to say, "People say the finale makes up for it, which is a complete lie.
It
Sure, it was
is.
cute, but it doesn't justify the last few shitty seasons we had to deal with."
This is also how I feel about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which I could murder people over because that show used to be so good and now it's like one of the worst shows ever.
God, how many seasons is that on
That's
now?
in its 13th season and it should, apart from like a couple of episodes, it should have ended on its like 8th. It's terrible. I
I
couldn't
think I
even
watched.
finish watching the last season. It was so cringy.
Yeah, I stopped watching that a long time ago. Right when sort of when Danny DeVito joined the show.
That's when you stopped watching. He joined in the second series, D.
Maybe there's the 3rd season is when I stopped.
What? Well, all the best episodes are in like the 6th season and the 7th, so you've missed out.
Maybe I'll go back. I don't watch sitcoms. I hate the entire genre of sitcoms.
It's Always Sunny has jumped the
The
shark, and they did a
format.
long time ago. It needs to stop. It needs to die.
Are you gonna murder your family now?
I will murder for that show to stop. Yeah.
He goes on to say, "I have a lot more to say about it, but life is short. This
Literally.
kid takes the office seriously.
So fucking seriously.
You know, I think that show jumped the shark at Jim and Pam's wedding,
Ugh.
personally.
Personally, I think Pam is the biggest villain in that in The Office. And yeah, they should never have married. Jim, you can do better than Pam. Is this what he's writing in his suicide note?
I think I don't have that part, but I'm thinking he probably did.
I think
I
he
mean, I'm
feels the
getting the
same about
summary
me.
from the New York Post. He goes on to say, we kept watching until February 21st, 2021, which
Oh
means
my
he's
god,
just
my
watching the
birthday!
reruns.
This
Oh,
is my
yeah, they're watching for your
birthday.
birthday. That
Oh,
is the day Kate was born, but it's also the day his older brother came into the room with a proposition. If we can't fix everything in a year, we'll kill ourselves and our family.
right.
Yeah.
In a year.
Well, that's the thing. They said they're going to keep watching until February 21st, 2021, till your birthday. But if they can't fix everything in a year, and I don't know if he means the
The
show
show
or
or
if
their
their own
family.
lives. I personally, why not try The Good Place?
The Good
Like, that's a
Place.
decent one. Yeah. Have you seen The Good Place?
No, what's the Good Place about?
That's another sitcom. It's about like they go to hell and they have to deal with Ted Danson in hell, and he's like a demon.
Oh, Ted Danson. I like Ted Danson.
Yeah, little
Yeah.
dancing man. Or go for a classic like Seinfeld or something. Or
Oh,
Who's the
please, no,
Boss?
not Seinfeld. What,
Well,
make
there's
them murder
plenty of
even
seasons.
more.
Seinfeld never jumped the shark. Jerry Seinfeld never left the show. I don't know what it would have
The
been called then.
the Larry
Kramer,
Sanders Show. That's what they should have been obsessed with. The Larry Sanders Show.
Larry
Very good.
Sanders Show. That's a good one. Or
Very
the
good.
young ones. Watch the young ones.
The young
That
ones.
show never jumped the shark.
Bottom. Watch Bottom and understand British humor.
So they eventually decided that they're just biding their time. Waiting a whole year was going to be too long. So why not just wait a month? So their plan was simple. They went and got two guns. They took one to shoot the sister and the grandma, and then the brother would go kill the parents with the other gun, and then they would both just take themselves out. So that's the whole plan. So you go kill sister and grandma, you go kill the parents, and then we just take ourselves
And
out.
we'll reconvene like Eric and Dylan and we'll just blow our brains out in the library. Got it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what the Bangladeshi brothers did a couple Saturdays ago at the family's home in Allen, Texas. They're accused of slaughtering four family members before killing themselves. Um, and in order to get the weapons, they claim that they had to lie about their mental health to get the weapons.
What, and say they were healthy when they're clearly
Yeah,
not?
well that's the thing. You can have like a mental health issue, and they're just gonna be like, so do you have any mental health problems? And you're just like, no, no, fine. They don't care. They don't even
Here
do a
you
background
go.
check.
Here's your assault rifle. Have fun.
So yeah, they shot dead their father, Tohidul Islam, 54, and their mother, Iran Islam. And there's 77-year-old grandmother, Altafan Nessa, who is visiting from Bangladesh.
Ugh,
They also killed Farhan's 19-year-old twin sister, Farbin, who had a full scholarship to NYU. That's
denied.
terrible. Yeah, cut her
Yeah.
down to her prime. And then they turned the guns on themselves. All six victims were discovered by police dead with gunshot wounds during a wellness check at 1 a.m. after a neighbor reported hearing gunshots. The brothers assumed that getting guns would be one of the more challenging parts of the planned suicide. That's what they said in the note. Like, it's going to be difficult for a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old with a history of mental health problems to go and just waltz into a gun store and buy a gun. Instead, they found that gun control in the US is a joke. Quote.
That's fun. Also funny because Eric and Dylan also thought that it was going to be the hardest part to get the guns, but it was actually the easiest part for them as
Well,
well.
they
So
they
nothing's
just took their
changed.
relatives' guns though.
No, they got guns bought for them at a gun show by a friend.
Oh, I thought they
You
I
know
thought they
nothing
also
about Columbine. Every couple of weeks you come out with something about Columbine. You know we're gonna have to do a Columbine episode just because you know nothing.
I swear I read that they had their parent or like an uncle's gun or a relative's guns.
No, they had guns bought from them from a gun
Did a
show.
relative buy the gun at
No,
the
a
gun show?
friend. So a friend bought them guns.
Oh, okay. I guess I was mistaken. Sometimes I get them confused because there's so many high school shootings.
That's true, but they're the OGs, aren't they?
They are no,
Yeah,
they're
they're
the
the
original.
OGs.
They're the original. He said all my brother had to do was go to a gun shop, say he wanted a gun for home defense, sign a couple forms. That was it. And they even asked one question about, hey, do you have any mental illnesses? But get this, he lied.
Oh
He
my God.
literally just said no. They didn't ask for any proof. They didn't ask him if he was taking any medication. And he just writes at the end, thanks for making this process so easy.
Didn't
Um,
ask if he could astrally project. Just gave him a gun.
He said, I've had
Murderer.
depression since the ninth grade. Not the damn, I failed my test depression everyone says they have. More like, I only cut myself twice today. That's better than usual. That type of depression.
Oh, he's such an emo.
When he was talking about his brother, he said, the dude's a fucking genius, but's too depressed and socially anxious to do anything with it. Farhan then goes on to detail his depression forced him to drop out of University of Texas, Austin, where he had been a computer science student. You know, this kid definitely had a lot going for him. I mean, it sucks that he had depression, but he definitely had a lot of opportunity.
They all sound
But
like they've got good scholarships and stuff to some good unis.
yeah, but he's definitely mental. He said at university he only cried, laughed, and punched a wall for hours.
Oh my word. Imagine having to live in a dorm with that guy.
Yeah, could you imagine being his dorm mate?
Oh, he's
Like
crying again. I'm
he's
gonna
crying
leave.
again and punching the wall for hours. He said some days weren't so bad, other times he was completely broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of ups and downs there. And you just want to sit there and listen to Pink Floyd and get high. Meanwhile, your neighbor's just smashing his head into the wall.
Oh god, and you're
Um,
having to listen to Scott's Tots for like fucking the 50th time that week. No
oh
thanks.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he's probably only watching The Office.
Oh.
And then it would suck too if you bring a girl back and they got to deal with that. Yeah, it'd be awkward. Um, Farhan said that he and his brother killed the family out of love.
Oh, they always say that.
He said, no matter what I do, I just can't be happy. But the gruesome plot was based on pure logic, he insisted. I love my family. I genuinely do. And that's why we had to kill them. He said, if I killed myself, they would be miserable. They would spend the rest of their lives feeling guilty, feeling despair, and a multitude of other adjectives, about this. So if we just took them with us and we killed them, no one ever is going to have to feel sad again. Now
Yeah,
that's some fucking chutzpah. This kid has a hell of an ego. I
this is
think they would
the
be so
trope though.
relieved. But I think they would be so relieved. Like seriously, don't you think if you grew up with this kid or you're his dorm, roommate or whatever, would you be so relieved that you don't have to deal with his mental ass anymore?
Do you know what? You would never have to hear the fucking Office theme tune ever the fuck again.
God,
I
I
would
mean,
play that as they lowered his coffin into the ground. The Office. Yeah.
I almost want to look that up. But yeah, like, could you imagine, like, if I was the sister, I'd be like, oh God, every time you hear him watching The Office and bitching about it, because I bet you they watch The Office and then just bitch about it incessantly over dinner.
I bet it's
Probably
all
that's
there.
well because he's mental. He's not in uni anymore, so he's at home all day watching The Office with his mental brother, and they're both like sitting there bitching about The Office all day. I would want to kill my fucking self. I'd want to kill the family. I'd kill them for sure.
Yeah, I would not be coming home from fucking uni. That's a guarantee. That poor grandmother as well, traveling all the way over from Bangladesh just to have to be forced to watch The Office for
And then get
days before
murdered.
she was murdered.
Yeah.
Oh,
But just for him to think like, the family would just be full of guilt and despair. They
oh,
couldn't
they
go
could
on
not go
without
on
us.
without me. Yeah, what a
Yeah.
dickhead.
Yeah. You're an asshole, Farhad. Um, he also admitted if I'm gonna die, I might as well get some attention.
What?
There's the
See,
true
dickhead.
there's the true
That
motivation.
is the true motivation.
Yeah. Um, Police said that they had no prior indication that there's any, this tragedy was about to happen. A family friend said that everyone who knew the family's heartbroken. My favorite is the former landlord said that the father was a wonderful man and his wife a beautiful woman. They're very nice people. Um, she said that the father was a baker. He made bread in a fancy restaurant, and then he also, while he was working at the restaurant, was getting a master's degree. He got his master's. The father, a hardworking guy, really
Yeah.
happy. She said the brothers had some problems. She said one of the boy goes to a special school. He talks slow. He needs
Oh.
special teachers.
Is she
So
just putting it politely that he's a bit of a
he's a rotundo.
rotundo?
Yeah.
Yeah, politely.
I, I mean, yeah. If you ask me, it is a tragedy, though. You know, Steve Carell never should have left the office.
He never should have. This is what happened, Steve. This is all your
Look what
fault.
you caused, Steve.
Yeah,
You did
fuck
this.
me.
And this rests heavy on your soul. What do you have here for the second story?
I have something that should be a film, and it is that an ex-paramedic accused of using eye drops to kill his wife also set a helicopter on fire.
I think this is the plot of Lethal Weapon too.
This is more exciting than the plot of Lethal Weapon 2, one of the most boring films ever made. Joshua Hunsucker was charged on Monday with felony burning personal property for the November 26, 2019 in-flight incident. He's a North Carolina paramedic, and he was also accused of using eye drops to kill his wife, as well as
Eye
setting a
drops.
medical helicopter on fire. I'll get into how eye drops can kill you in
Yeah,
a
but I
minute.
think you can. I've heard of putting eye drops like in your wife's coffee to give her diarrhea.
Oh, is that something from your own personal past, from your
I just,
stash?
someone, a friend of mine said that, that's something you could do
Yeah,
to an ex girlfriend.
your friend, yeah.
A friend of mine. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So this in-flight incident occurred. So he's like burning this helicopter while he's flying it. Occurred about a month before he was arrested in connection with the 2018 death of his 32-year-old wife, Stacy Hunsucker.
Was this his helicopter?
Oh no, he's a paramedic. He's flying it. He allegedly torched a syringe pump while inside of the chopper as it was flying over Charlotte, and the
For,
helicopter had to make an
why?
emergency landing in a because it's fucking cool. A
Well,
helicopter on
it is.
fire.
The fire is really cool, and a
Fire is
helicopter on
cool.
fire is very
It's
cool. But
fucking cool.
is he
I've
in the helicopter?
I've always wanted to go on a chopper. Get get to the chopper. Do it now. I've always wanted to do that.
Get to
I've
the
never. Have
chopper.
you ever been in a chopper?
Yeah, yeah, a
Have
couple
you?
times.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
really jealous. I've always wanted to do it. I
Oh,
would
it's really cool.
I just want to wear the headset. That's mainly what I want to do inside of it, and just make some anti-inflammatory remarks about the people on the ground.
Well, I wouldn't make inflammatory remarks like this guy did. But I don't understand. Like the guy's in the helicopter, right? He's in the
Yes, because
chopper,
he's in the chopper.
and he
Um,
lights the thing on fire. I don't see how that would work out very well for him.
well, the hospital said that nothing is more important for our emergency medical crews than safety, especially for those who are in flight. If what Mr. Hunsucker is charged with is true, it is unfathomable to us what may have possessed him to endanger himself and others in such a way. We are extremely thankful that our pilot was able to land safely and that no one was injured, and especially grateful that there was no patients on board. So he was going to take out him and the pilot. He didn't give a fuck.
Oh, so he was on like a murder suicide bent here.
I think so. Just taking them all
Was he
out.
also upset about Steve Carell leaving the office?
He doesn't seem like an office watcher. This guy,
Probably
Mr.
watches
Hunsucker.
ER or something like that.
Probably.
Grey's
Well,
Anatomy.
yeah. Or oh god, what's the British one that's on the BBC? I can't think today. It's gonna come to me in a bit. So Hunsucker, he was charged with first-degree murder in December 2019 for the 2018 death of Stacy, his high school sweetheart wife. Um,
Hmm.
the North Carolina Department of Insurance, they began investigating her death because her mother, Susie, she accused Hunsucker of insurance fraud. Typical.
Oh, all right, all right. That makes
a-
sense.
After she learned of a relationship that she believed he was having prior to his wife's death, because he collected $250,000 in life insurance after she died.
S-
So
th-
typical.
You know, I can understand if you're making $1 million, but like 250 grand, it's not even that much money.
In North Carolina, that's a fair bit of change, is it not?
Well, I guess you'd buy a really nice house there, but I mean, is that worth potentially being charged with murder?
He obviously thought so.
I guess.
His colleagues, his other paramedics, they told investigators that he seemed unaffected by his wife's death and that he swiftly moved in with his new girlfriend into the home that he had shared with his wife So out, you close a door and open a window. In
Oh,
comes your
he's at
mother.
Applebee's hitting on the waitress.
Applebee.
Next thing you know, he's just like moving in with the home wrecker.
Yeah.
Wow.
He also gave multiple accounts of where he was before he said he found his wife slumped over the side of the couch at the home. To a friend, he allegedly said that he had gone out for a little walk, a little stroll around the neighborhood. His mother-in-law, he said that he was working on his computer in the kitchen when he noticed that his wife had slumped on the couch. So
Hmm. All
that's
right. That's
already bad.
plausible though.
It's already bad that he's given different versions of events. You stick to your story, mate. So he also refused to have an autopsy performed on his wife, and she was just cremated. But because she was an organ donor, so this is why you should always be an organ donor in case shit like this happens. A blood sample had been saved, and that was taken to the lab for testing, and then it was found to have high levels of tetrahydrozoline, which is an ingredient found in eye drops. If taken
Hmm.
in large quantities, it will attack the nervous system. It causes chills, sweats, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and eventually death. So there's your
Diarrhea. See,
killer.
that's what I'm telling you.
You know everything about diarrhea. I bet you can
No, I'm just
spell
saying it's a great
diarrhea
way for this friend of mine to give an ex
to get
girlfriend.
some revenge on to get some bowel
So
revenge.
how did he give it to her? Like
I
how do you
actually couldn't
administer
find that
it?
out. I think he probably
Oh.
just put it in a coffee. So
Oh.
in the morning, she was probably like, "Oh yeah, one of my friend, right, my old Asian babes drummer, Neil. His morning breakfast was always like a cigarette and a cup of coffee, and he used to call it shortcut to a shit.
What is? I mean, you do both of
It
those.
is, yeah.
Immediately take a shit.
So you can imagine if he's putting it in her morning coffee,
Oh, he's
maybe he's,
putting like, yeah. I
and then
wonder
she has
how
to go to the
much.
bathroom.
I
I
mean, if
actually,
you wanted diarrhea, it's like a capful is a little bit, but I
yeah,
mean,
probably like
like how much to kill somebody? He must have done a whole like thing.
a couple of bottles, I would imagine.
Yeah, I
You
wonder
know
how
what he
we
reminds me of? On Dumb and Dumber when he's got the ipecac and he's putting it in in his coffee and he's forcing
it
him to
is.
drink it. That's what I'm playing in my head right now.
Yeah,
So
but the cat makes you vomit.
as he is a flight paramedic, well, what is it? He gives him he just gives him a laxative,
Yeah.
a thing in Dumb and Dumber. So they said that because he's a flight paramedic, his training and experience would certainly provide a thorough understanding of various types of medication and how those medications can react in the body. Additionally, his employment provides access to non controlled substances which do not require logging or inventory control. So he's probably using like the primo grade eye
Yeah,
drops.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, what? Because yeah, it's definitely probably not like store bought
No, it's not the ones that
chemicals.
brighten your eyes or anything like that. This is like
Yeah, yeah.
probably
He must have get
proper
yeah.
ones.
And he probably is mixing it with something. He probably did research. That's probably what he was on his computer for.
Yeah, I bet. The
Yeah.
medicine has a dramatic effect on your heart and it would cause heart stoppage or heart failure. We have probable cause he poisoned Mrs. Hunsucker with Vicilline, which caused her death. Um, the same guy, Green, said that Hunsucker was on administrative leave and under investigation after being accused of misconduct at the time of his arrest, obviously to do with the fact that he's murdered his wife. So there's been a GoFundMe page, as there always fucking is. It just one pops up now, set up for Stacy, because she had been experiencing medical problems after she had given birth to her daughter Piper.
Oh, what they have a kid?
They have a kid, and she also had a pacemaker. So she's like pretty easy to kill. She's got a weak
Yeah,
heart
yeah. Doesn't he just have to put the microwave near her? It's not that hard.
with a pacemaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's like why go the whole like poison her with like eye drop solution here?
Yeah, to
Doesn't make any sense. What
offer.
about the kid?
Piper. Well, now she is fatherless and motherless. But she's called Piper though, so I wasn't expecting to hold out much hope for her.
No, stripper for sure.
Piper.
No wonder he tried to do the whole murder suicide in the chopper. I mean, he probably was like, the gig's up. I'm gonna go to jail here for murdering my wife, so I might as well just like burn the chopper down.
Burn the chopper. Do it
Burn the
now.
chopper. Yeah, it sounds like that's what happened. So So he's dead. Oh, I guess he's gonna go to prison. And
Well, yeah.
how old's Piper?
Piper was born in 2013, so she's like 8. Is that 8?
Oh, 8-year-old
8ish?
Piper.
Yeah, a friend of the family. There's always a friend who pops up at this time, isn't there? Who comes and gives
Yeah.
a nice little statement about the family. She said she was shocked when she heard the news. She was shocked, D. Simon. I mean, she did not deserve for this to happen to her. She was a great mother. She was a happy person. That's all she could say about it, though. So he's been booked. He's been released on 50 grand bail on Monday for this latest charge. And he is to appear in court on May 18th. So it's still pending. It's still going.
What? He
He's
got released on
currently
a $50,000 bond for
he's cur-
murder.
his murder trial is still pending. He is out for the destruction of the chopper.
Oh, for destruction of the chopper. That guy
Yeah.
should be on suicide watch.
Do you think? I think he's just gonna
He
bop
tried to
about and go to
burn
jail.
down the chopper. I think he's gonna try to snuff it.
Do you think maybe he is? Maybe he'll like
Yeah.
blow up his Charlottetown. Apparently, North Carolina is beautiful. Have you ever been?
Oh yeah, yeah. Family. My father's family moved from England to
Oh
Jacksonville,
yeah,
North
so they
Carolina.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in Charlotte.
Yeah, I'm
Seems really nice.
I'm thinking this guy is gonna commit suicide and we're gonna find a bizarre, rambling suicide note posted on Instagram about Brooklyn Nine-Nine
You
jumping the
always
shark.
mention the show. You actually watch that show, don't you?
Every day, all
Every
day.
day.
And it jumped the shark, all right?
Not for
No,
you.
I don't even know who's in it. I like to mention it though.
You do.
Yeah. Anyway, people send your stories, sigrunpodcast@gmail.com. We got some phone calls to get to. We have some good ones. Actually, there's a really good one that I think you should pay attention to, actually.
Who, me?
Yeah, it's directed towards you
Oh
and
my
it
word.
echoes some of my sentiments about you.
Oh
So,
no. It's not an
yeah,
ex-boyfriend, is it?
no, but it's someone who's as concerned about you as I am. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners are also concerned.
Oh
Anyway, we're
shit.
going to get to some phone calls in just a minute. But first, here's a word from Adam and Eve.
Wait, Ash. Here you go, Ash. This
What
is
do you
my
say?
pledge. Ash is saying that he's gonna have a GoFundMe for getting some beers from the shop. I would pay, half the time the battle of getting beers from the shop is like you have to go to the fucking shop.
I can't believe how your shops close at like 11, right?
Yeah, like our offies, but you can go to like 24-hour supermarket and get booze. You can get booze 24 hours in this country.
Oh, so are you
Although
near
not at
one
the
or do
moment
you
because of COVID. Pardon.
Ugh,
You can't go.
lame.
Although probably in the bigger cities, I imagine the 24-hour supermarkets are still open, but where I live, they're not.
Yeah, we don't have, well, no, we have like 24-hour like Rite Aids and things like that, but they stopped selling booze at 2. But two
Oh yeah.
o'clock, I mean, that's pretty late. Like you can make it to the store by
I
2
don't
to
know.
get
When you're
booze.
partying, you're like, oh my God, too. Because, like, I don't ever tend to go out until 10 at night. So if you think of it like that, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, that's only 4 hours of drinking, which is not enough.
Yeah, but within that 4 hours, if you're going to be like, hey, I'm going out, I'm at a cool party, you have time to go get some booze.
That's true. But I
You
usually
can
always
also
plan
have your
ahead.
booze delivered, like Uber Eats and things like that.
Oh yeah, we've had that.
Yeah,
What's it called in Glasgow? There is a thing for it in Glasgow. I just can't remember what it's
it's called
called.
haggis.
Haggis.
All right, hold on a
Yes, the
second. Here you
haggis brings you. Oh, what's it called? I've rang it many a
go. You get
time.
some beer now that we're talking about it.
Yeah, we do have it. All our takeaways here send you booze out as well, but at vastly inflated prices. Ash, who's as bad as me? I finish work at 8 a.m. and I often go and buy like whiskey or wine and then take it home. And you do get looks from people because people forget that people work nights. Oh, I don't, you know what? I don't like monkeys, but I'm pretty cool with baboons. Get to the chopper, do it now. My favorite line from Commando is when he's killed that guy on the airplane and he says to the air stewardess, "Do not disturb my friend. He's dead tired."
All the one-liners in that are
I
great.
freaking let off some steam, Bennett.
I like when he goes to that mall. I kind of want to see where that mall is. I don't know
I
where that.
like
It look like it looks to me like Santa Monica, but
I like at the start when he's with Alyssa Milano and they're feeding like fucking baby deer and skunks and looking off
oh, and wherever
wild
they are,
animals.
yeah,
Yeah, I love
at his
that.
cabin.
It's not a tumor.
That is one thing I like about Lethal Weapon is all those locations
You
are
know
like in my
them.
neighborhood. Yeah, like they're at the
Cool.
Wiltern, and they're at the Wiltern. They're at I forget which building that was where the guy jumped off the suicide jumper and Mel Gibson
Oh
put like
yes, yeah.
handcuffs to him.
That the only film that's really filmed up here is With Nail and I, and at the end of 28 Days
Brilliant
Later,
film.
that's
Oh,
in
the
the
end of, yeah.
lakes. Yeah, where they're in the countryside. That's up here.
Wait, what
That's it.
about where does old Greg live? Doesn't he live up there?
Yeah, so Greg is just he's a native. You're gonna see like 200 of them walking
But if
about.
yeah, but if you went to like a I don't know, like a lakeside pub, would it be like the old Greg pub?
No, it's like on American Werewolf in London when you walk
Oh,
into
it's like
that pub.
you
It's
walking.
exactly like that. Or like the pub where they go in with Nail and I when they're traipsing across the Mars. That's
Love
how I
that.
have to get to my local. I have to traipse across a fucking some hills. Not Mars. Sorry, Cumbrians will get offended that I called them Mars. Sorry,
Because they're on
Gino.
Mars, right?
They're not fucking Mars, they're fells.
Is Gino? Is he in a Cumbria person?
Yeah, I'm at the top and he's at the bottom. So we're watching it for the rest. We're the only two sensible people. Oh no, there's some more. There's somebody else that's on the Patreon. I can't remember his name right now. I think he's called
That's
Mike.
also
He's from West Coast. He's from Whitehaven. So between the three of us, we're like the holy trinity of Cumbria.
and they're all border towns or border on the borders.
We're as far away from each other as you can get, which is quite funny, really. Because Gino's at the very, very bottom. Um, I feel bad I can't remember his name. The guy from Whitehaven is right on the coast, and then I'm as far north as you can get.
It's like the
Yeah, the Holy Trinity. We should start like a little coven or something. And then maybe we could all astrally project and meet each other in like the Lake District in like Keswick or somewhere and have a nice day out, have a ramble. I'm up for it, Gino.
whoa, this guy has seen an ovipositor in real life, this disiam illusion.
What's an ovipositor?
You ever seen one of those?
Well, obviously not. I'm asking you what one is.
We interviewed a guy that made them. It's like a dildo sort of that shoots gelatinous eggs in your asshole or your vagina.
What?
So an ovipositor is supposed to be like an alien's like tentacle.
Let me look. Maybe I have seen one. I've just got to
Yeah, I
have a
was
look.
making the rounds on the internet. I could show you. Let me see if I can show you.
Wait, I'm looking now.
I kind of don't want to
Oh
play.
yeah, I've seen what these are.
You ever use one?
Um, how much do they cost? Alien dildo, Etsy.
Yeah, it's like an alien
The first
dildo.
thing that came up is Etsy. That's brilliant.
Here's one. Looks like this.
Wait, I'm not looking. Are you
Wait,
sharing
I
screen?
don't know if I should show it. Are we gonna get banned on YouTube or something?
Oh, showing a dildo. Well, is a dildo
Fucking,
offensive? Or are you
I
gonna
don't
tell your
fucking.
story, your Facebook story?
Oh, what about getting banned on Facebook? No, I mean, there's such cunts on all these social media apps like fucking Facebook and fucking YouTube and Instagram. They're a bunch of cunts because they're so nervous about offending someone or pissing someone off that yeah, you're like you make a joke and you get fucking banned. So did you guys see my? I think I already talked about it. But you guys see my picture of the nunchucks? Some guy wrote something like "nice man tits," and I just responded, "Stop wanking." As a joke. And yeah, I violated community standards. I'm banned from Facebook, and the page might get taken down now. Isn't that fucked? It's the private Facebook group. I'm gonna write them a fucking screed. Shove that screed right up fucking Zuckerberg's asshole,
Okay,
dick.
Dad. Okay.
I'm writing a fucking screed. Screeds work.
I can make one out of paper mache.
I wrote a fucking screed to YouTube
You did?
about them fucking got 2 copyright violations removed and a community strike removed from my screed. So Kate, shove
Right,
that
you
up your
screed.
fucking
I'm not
cockhole.
saying not do it. You just call me a cockhole.
No, I said shove that up your cockhole.
Oh, I thought you just personally called me a cockhole.
It's a weird thing to call a woman.
A cockhole.
All right, you know what? You two be damned. I'm showing you an Obvi positor.
Yeah, go for it. Does everyone like my rock T-shirt from it's from the year 2000?
There you go.
Brahma
That's
Bull.
it.
Yeah. So like is part of the joy that it puts the eggs in. I've definitely seen Asian porn where she's
Yeah,
birthing
like
out the eggs.
yeah, you basically shove it up there and you shit out the eggs or whatever. This is the guy, Lone Wolf. We
That you
interviewed this
interviewed
guy.
him. Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
See that? It's like
Yeah. Yeah, I've
gelatinous
seen
and
that. I've seen
slimy.
porn.
Would you ever do that? Like if a dude was like, I'm really into that.
Like is it like a vibrating egg or is it just
No,
an
it's just a
egg?
dildo and just she
And you
just
just say
basically
you just queef them out.
you just queef out these slimy eggs into the
Um
guy's mouth.
into his mouth. I do it once just to see what it's like. You never know, you might like something. That's what you should always do. Be willing and accepting
You would try to do it?
unless it's involving like shit or like vomit, why not? You get a story out of it.
Okay. Would you
Internet criminal, you.
I'm an
Gino. Yeah.
internet outlaw, Gino. Would you put the ovipositor in the man's ass and then have him shit the eggs out?
No, that's too far. Have him shit them out. Like why?
Well, he wouldn't shit him out with shit. I'm just saying they'd come out of his ass. They're not with feces.
No, no, D. I don't want to. Don't want to do that.
But you're okay. You just contradicted yourself because you're like, I'm good giving game. Well, except
I
when it
said
comes to
unless it
shit.
involves shit or vomit,
But there's
and
no
that
shit. It's
there
just the
will be
egg.
shit. There would be shit because he's shitting
There's,
them
a,
out of his ass.
there's an egg just coming out of his ass.
Into what?
These
Into my hand.
or
It-
mouth, but they're all like it's like Jello. What do you call Jello over there? Jelly.
Yeah, jelly. They
Yeah,
look like
that's what I'm
they're
saying. It's like a
squidgy. They do look
yeah, it's like a
squidgy.
little jelly
Like one of
egg for
those
you.
stress balls.
Well, that'd be
Shitting
like a
out
little
a stress
jelly egg
ball.
you can eat.
I'm actually allergic to eggs, so
No, but it'd be a jelly. It's an egg made of jelly. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. I'm just no. I don't want to watch a man shit. Don't want to see him.
I'm gonna
I
okay.
don't want to see him shit logs, and I don't want to see him shit jelly eggs. It's all
People
the
on
same.
people on the YouTubes. Is the
Into a
man
tiny
shitting
skillet.
or is he just passing a jellied egg out of his anus? I think there's a difference. There's a distinction there.
It's still if something is coming out of your asshole that is
Is
an
it always
object, you
shit?
have to shit it out. It's the act of shitting, and he's shitting it out. It's shit. I'm not doing it.
Kate is so close-minded. Okay, would you let your astral projection catch the shit?
Imagine going to all that hassle where you've learnt to astrally project and you're
Just-
like, oh fuck, it's true.
Just
And then you're just there.
catching the eggs coming out of your boyfriend's asshole.
Yeah, like no.
All right. Gotta move on.
I
It's late
agree
here.
with Gino. I am glad you are banned.
I'm banned.
Yeah, I'm glad you're banned
Can't
too.
say anything anymore, people. That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Ban the Jew.
Banned. Yeah.
It's pure anti-Semitism. That's exactly
That's what it is. That's what I'm going to say in my screen. All right, you ready?
Yes.
So we got a few phone calls to get to. 323-522-4032 is that number. Remember, people, keep it under 3 minutes. And if you call now, you can hear my lovely answer machine message.
I've never heard
I would
it.
say it's lovely. You what?
Is it
You've never
lovely?
called it just to hear it.
Why am I ringing up the phone line just to hear your voicemail? I already have to
And
listen to
leave
enough
me a
of your
message.
voice during the week. Leave you a message. Maybe I will
I
one
can
day just to
understand
leave
that.
you a message. You can play it on the
Or to
show
hear it. But
just to hear it.
anyway, we got some good calls today, and I'm about to play a few. Um, this first one actually isn't a great call, but
Oh,
the next two are great calls. This first one's more of an informative call. I'd say you could almost say it's constructive criticism.
right.
My question is, what's constructive about it?
Oh,
Hey, Dee and Kate. So you guys are constantly talking about all these photographs that you have that you're looking at. Where can we see those? I have a suggestion where you could allow us to see them is by using the chapter artwork feature of the podcast app. When you mention a photo, you could actually embed that into.
I have a suggestion where you can see them.
is it going to be the same answer I'm about to give? Yeah, on YouTube, mate. On YouTube.
Yeah, John Lithgow.
He does
Go
sound
look at
like
the
John Lithgow.
YouTube live stream.
He kind of also sounds like he could maybe be Boner Villain's dad
Or Boner Villain actually projected
as a
in the,
dad.
yeah,
Yeah.
10 years from now.
Podcast feed so we can see it. And I think that would be really cool. Anyway,
It'd
I
be
think
real
you're doing
cool.
really great. I really wish it didn't run so long, though. 2
What?
hours, man.
Well, no
but
one's
I'll
forcing you
endure.
to
Hey, keep it long.
listen to it in two halves. If it's too fucking long for you,
I don't
no one's
underst-
saying listen from start to finish.
Yeah,
Them.
listen to it in like sections. You don't have to sit there, listen to the whole fucking thing. God, John Lithgow just listens to podcasts from the beginning to the end.
John Lithgow does not like dancing, and he does not like long podcasts.
Yeah, I wonder what he thought. Like, it's a good thing we're not dancing on the podcast.
Yeah, well, my simple explanation for this guy, if he wants to see the photos, is like some people only like to watch YouTube streams, and some people like to listen to podcasts. So it's like a benefit, it's a bonus for the YouTube streamers if you want to come and see the pictures. We want to get across as many different platforms as we can, and we want to have different bonuses across them. So it's different for each person. Otherwise, you're just doing the same old fucking thing. And plus, like, going to extra work and
Well,
embedding pictures and like, oh,
my explanation is I don't even know how to fucking do that.
You're
I know
the
how to
dad.
like, yeah, no, I mean, I don't. I have no idea through the fucking way I post the podcast. I've been doing the same posting of the podcast for what, 15 years now? Like, I don't even know how I
How
would
to
do
do
that.
it.
But we do it on, we do it on YouTube. So you can go check out the live stream. And we usually post pictures there.
As to the length of the show, one of the reasons I first started listening to this show is because I I listen to a lot of podcasts. I need to have a lot of hours filled. At the time, I was working 50, 60 hours a week. So I needed 50, 60 hours worth of podcasts and or music. And when I first started listening to the show, I was like, oh, wow, each episode's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. That means I can listen to 8 in one day and my fucking work day is done. So
Me personally, I wish it was just about 20 minutes so I can get the fuck out of here and go watch Pornhub.
do you know what?
Pop.
Everyone's a critic, aren't they? But not everyone's an artist. If we shorten the show, there's going to be people complaining. If we keep the show the same length, people will complain. You just can't please everyone, mate. This guy, I'm sure he's very nice, but he's a butt guy. Do you know what I mean by that?
He's into
a butt
butts?
guy. No, he's the type of person who
Oh.
would go, I love you, but
Oh, nothing's ever good enough for this
he's
guy.
a butt guy. Yeah, he's a butt guy.
I bet you he's also an ass man, though. He sounds like a guy that's into girls' asses. I'm kind of an ass man
I was
myself.
about to say I like a tits over ass. No, I choose the ass too. Although
I'm an ass man.
some asses can get too big, like Kim Kardashian's too big. You want it to be in proportion to the body, but asses are better than titties.
Well, actually, I want to pose this question to the audience. You guys because me and Harrison usually did it. It was usually about an hour and a half. It always around an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. Then Kate came on. It was started getting closer to 2 hours, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less. It's sort of, I don't really I don't really go out of my way to edit. I barely even edit the show these days. So I don't really put much effort into doing that or to like making it shorter because I kind of feel like people like long form radio. You look at shows like
Well,
fucking Joe
Howard
Rogan
Stern.
or Howard Stern does it for like 4 hours.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's about 3 hours as well, isn't
Three,
he?
3.5. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's long. But the fact of the matter is, you don't have to listen to it all in one sitting. You know, a lot of people like to listen to it while they're driving to work. Listen to the first part. That's why we split into thirds. We do an intro, do stories, then we do phone calls.
Yeah, John
You
Lithgow,
know,
Dad. You can just like listen to it in two parts. Like nobody's saying you have to listen to it all in one go, mate. Like you can listen to it in two parts or three
and then he's
parts.
like, and what are you doing while you're listening? Just staring at your phone to see the pictures?
Like you can look at the pictures on YouTube, or I know people who'll just go and Google the pictures afterwards. Like, because that's where we get them from. We're not like taking them out of books that you can only buy from specialist stores. They're from Google.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm interested to hear what if people like it longer. Because I know I saw on Discord people say I really like the longer shows now. But yeah, I don't know. To each their own. That's what I say.
yeah, no matter what you do, there's always going to be somebody who will complain. No
Fuck it,
matter
I just
what.
go watch Pornhub. All right. Thank you, John Lithgow. All right, this next call echoes my concerns about Kate. I listened to this call, and I listened
Right.
to it because I bet the calls, and I was just like, I completely agree with you. I have the same concerns.
Oh no.
Right, hi Kate, how you do? Kate, it's your mum here and I'm very worried about you.
I'm worried too.
I was just listening to the latest podcast and I don't understand your vagina.
Neither do I.
It's even more confusing
Same
than
reaction.
a circumcised cock. Oh my God, what do you mean that you fart out of the back and it goes in the front and then you have to fart it out again?
Yeah, like when you sat
And
down.
what do you mean that's a normal thing? It happens to all women. We just don't speak about it.
I completely agree.
Honestly, it happens. There's memes about it. There's memes about it. Like
It's
usually it happens
totally
when
normal.
It happens when you're sat down. It does. Mum, I will show you the memes. I will send you the memes, Mum, to prove that we are not alone.
I hate to tell you, it doesn't happen to all women. I'm 50 years old and that has never happened once. And I have farted like a trooper. I have farted once in the car and the whole of my family didn't even ask if it was me. They just assumed it was the dog. So I'm kind of an expert at farting. And it is.
Dude, Epic Farter just blew his load just now.
Epic Farter has much to learn from my mother. He's going to grow.
Like a trooper.
Like a trooper.
Thing. I'm really, really worried. I'm worried because for two reasons. A, I now consider you, my daughter. And B, because I'm a nurse and I kind of know quite a lot about fannies and I've never come across this before. I'm going to have to discuss it with all my friends and get back to you.
It happens when you're sitting down, Mum.
No, I completely agree. I'm very concerned about what's going down there on Kate.
It happens when you're sitting down, and like usually it happens when you're trying to do like a silent fart. So you like creep out and it creeps up, and then it creeps up. That's what
I don't know what she's eating. I don't know what she's drinking.
Well,
but
I'm a vegetarian. So...
Something's producing this gas that goes rectovaginal gas here.
She's like probably what my mum is thinking. She's thinking that it goes like straight up to my uterus. It does it like it's like I said on the show. It's like a fancy harpist at a wedding. It like creeps past, but that's like going from your asshole through your vagina.
But you're saying it, and they're both silent when you pass them through the both orifices.
Yes. It happens when you're sitting down, Mum. Honestly, there are memes.
You've just
Sure.
I'm just speechless. I can't
I'm
even
speechless
believe
too. I'm shocked.
I've listened to that. I'm very worried. I'm off to Google now and speak to everybody I know to find out if it is a thing. And if it is a thing, then I'm going to have to figure out what to do because I must be farting wrong because I have never farted from the back into the front and out again. Sounds like fun though. So
that's what she thinks.
The sun's
Yeah.
shining. I'm going in the garden, and I'm gonna have a little play with my farts. Anyway, see you later. Love you. Bye.
You
I love
know,
my mum. She's
Kate's
awesome.
mom, I completely agree with you. I'm very concerned. When Kate first mentioned it to me, I was concerned about her diet. But then I was thinking about this. I was thinking she might have a rectovaginal fistula.
You've looked this up. No, what I have is a diamond level pussy, and it's more like it will.
Rectovaginal fistula.
Yeah, I'm not Freddie Mercury making
It's
my
an
way through the
abnormal
rent
connection
boys.
between the lower portion of your large intestine, your rectum, and your vagina. And that's why your bowel contents are leaking through the fistula into your vag.
You're taking this too far now, D. Simon. Bowel contents are not coming through my vagina.
Well, bowel contents like means gas too. Like it can all gas just
It
slip
happens
in
when you
there.
sat down, like it's just the pressure. It's like the guy was saying. He will fart and it'll tickle his balls. Is basically the
But they're
same kind
not
of
going
thing.
into his cock hole. Like I think that's the thing.
No, because they're nowhere near the cock hole. They're near the ball hole. The ball
Well,
hole.
what I'm
I know
saying,
balls don't have holes.
what I'm saying, maybe your anus and your vagina are too close together, and that's what's causing the problem. And you should wear stop wearing the thongs. Like maybe you should wear looser fitting underwear. Maybe get a girdle or
Do you think
something.
I do wear a lot of tight fitting trousers, hysterectomy pants, my mother calls them.
The farts have nowhere else to go.
They
They
have
can't
nowhere.
escape.
They
They can't
can
escape.
only go, and obviously because I have a diamond level pussy, it's and I've never had children. Like it sucks up it's kind of like a black hole. Anything that goes with it, it's just so tight. It's just gonna pull things in.
Well, my question is it a white diamond or a brown diamond?
Funny. White.
I agree. I agree, Kate's mom. I'm very concerned, and I think Kate might need to get checked out.
Kate's mom. There are memes about it. There's actually Reddit threads about this. This is why when I first was like, oh shit, that happens to other people. That's it's totally a normal thing. It is.
I mentioned it to my sister. My sister was like, "Yeah, Vart."
There you go.
Yeah,
right?
my sister knew the term, but I'm not surprised. She's my irritable bowel sister. I'm not surprised about that. I've been concerned about her plumbing for a long time.
Are you saying that you think about your sister's plumbing?
No, but I think about her irritable bowels.
She forces you, to be fair. She does tell you everything. Yeah, so me and Stephanie, they're varting away.
Queen farts over here.
It sounds like so posh, doesn't it? Yes, I just had a vart. So Kate's mom, it's called a vart.
It's the way my sister was just like, oh yeah, it's a vart.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what? How do you know this?
It happens, man. Sorry, Kate's mom.
Kate's mom, I'm very concerned as well. All right.
I love her.
I don't think this next caller farts. I could be wrong, but I just don't think she does by the sound of her voice.
Hello, it's Psychopathia Sexualis again. This time, phoning in with a terrible condom story. It's when I was at uni, so I was 19. I hooked up with some random guy, I think from Tinder, and he was quite full of energy, and he went a good 2 or 3 rounds. He was probably in his 30s, and
2 or 3 rounds in your 30s.
30s isn't old, D.
I was like maybe 1.5.
What, you couldn't do 2 or 3 rounds?
Well, the half would be the blowjob.
So you can play with your nunchucks for like hours, but you can't fucking shag.
I think that's true of most people that play with nunchucks in their 30s. They can't shag. They don't have the opportunity to shag.
Yeah, because they're too busy playing with their nunchucks.
It was a long cock. It was quite thin, I think.
We've all been there.
Blowing together.
A thin, long cock.
And I remember this one because he wanted to go again, but after the 3rd time, I was tired. I'd had lectures all day. So I sent.
It's got to be after 3 times. That's a lot.
3 times is it depends how drunk you are, but 3 times is probably the thing where I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm a bit bored of being shocked now.
But don't you get like sore? It's like, well, maybe not.
You can be sore, but you cannot. Yeah, it would just be like it depends on the length, and like his cock doesn't sound spectacular either. So it was probably a bit like, yeah, do we have
Underwhelming.
to?
Yeah.
Underwhelming cock is like the worst type of cock to get.
On his merry way. It wasn't until a few hours later I thought, something's wrong here. And I went to the loo and found the tip of the condom inside me.
What?
his cum.
Tip. Just the tip.
Which
Just the
was a
tip.
surprise. And I texted him and I said, why didn't you tell me? This is, this could end terribly for me. I mean, if I hadn't noticed, which I rather hope I would have, it could have, I don't know, I could have got toxic shock or something. Or I could have been pregnant, but I have long-acting contraception. And he texted me and was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't notice." I'm like, "Yeah."
I don't understand.
Just the
How
tip.
does the whole tip of the condom come? Like, did he cut the tip off? Like, was there a hole?
You know what I'm imagining is like everyone has that condom in their like wallet or their purse that has been there for like 10 years.
Oh, it's
And
an
do you think
old
he was
condom.
so fucking, yeah, he's like, it was like never gets laid, and he's just got an old condom. It's like disintegrated.
And it
off
just,
his
yeah, the
cock,
top just
and
ripped off.
just the tip came off.
God, yeah, that's really odd.
She's really good for using contraceptive though, because let me tell you, like as a northern slag, when I've been drunk and having hookups, I have been shit about wearing contraception. So good for her for being stringent.
Do you get mad at the guys for even suggesting it?
When they're like, no, I want to feel all your underwhelming cock. Take that condom off, buddy.
God damn it! Where do you think I'm from? South London?
I've already got all the diseases.
Sure you didn't. So that could have ended terribly. But there's quite a lot of discourse at the moment on the pod about foreskins.
Yeah.
And I'm racking my brains trying to think if I've ever encountered somebody who's been circumcised. And I don't think
bizarre.
I have.
They're rare.
I mean,
What? How
Over here,
how
they're
is it-
rare. It's like I said, I've only encountered one in my time of my many, many cocks, and that was once.
So many cocks.
So many cocks, so little time, David, and only one of them was cut. And his was cut because it was fucking huge. It wasn't like it was cut because he was a Jew or anything.
Oh, that's really weird. I guess I never thought about that. Yeah, I mean, it's probably a small fraction of the population gets
Over here,
gets
it's just not a
circumcised.
done thing.
Or maybe you haven't had sex with many Jews.
Yeah, there's only like
Anti-Semite.
5 Jews in all of the British Isles, and they all get married to other Jews. They don't want my Gentile pussy.
Oh, so you don't have a chance to experience the pleasure of an uncircumcised cock.
The Jew claw.
on the odds, potentially, but nothing I can remember. But I also haven't run into. I think I've run into smegma once, and that was.
I find that
when I was
surprising.
working. Who?
She was working.
Yeah, I feel genuinely sick thinking about it. There was a lot there, so I did go at him with a wet wipe because I wasn't putting my. Even with a condom, I wasn't putting my mouth anywhere near that. You know.
Wow. So you have a smegma wipe. That's probably something we could market. Sick and wrong smegma wipes.
Well, what is it? I'm from the Ville. They have cum cleans.
Well, cum
clean is real. I know, but they got sponsored by them. So
but what is the cum clean? Is it for like?
It's for both, I think. It's to freshen up everything and to wipe up cum.
Is it for before or is it after you've came, you wipe your dick off, you wipe the girl's vag off, and you go on your
I think it's for all
way?
of them. I think, didn't Steele say that he still had like a box load of them? He still had t-shirts and shit.
Yeah, he sent us some cum cleans.
So you should know. Did you not use the cum cleans that your friend sent you?
I don't remember what I did with it. No, I think Wackerly kept them.
Oh,
now that I
right.
think
So
about it.
we need to ask Wackerly what he's doing with the cum cleans.
You know-
That'll be a message.
I know you're listening from the Ville right now, but did you get to the episode where we sent Steele the turd twister?
I have not got to the turd twister. I'm kind of listening to them a bit out of order. I'm just going down and choosing like ones where the titles sound funny and just listening to them.
Do you know what the turd twister is?
No, but you can tell me.
Well, you know how like when you used to play with Play-Doh, you could put like a little star attachment and like push it
Of
down and it
course.
comes out looking like a star.
Yeah.
But there are these like little like butt plug attachment things you could shove in your ass. You shit through them in different shapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the turd twister because it twists into different shapes.
Did Martin or Steele use them?
That's a good question for Steele next time he's on the show. I don't know if he ever used it. They talked. I mean, I know they talked
They
about it on the show, but I
found
don't
it
know if they ever
hilarious.
actually used it
I would like to know
on
if
the
that
show.
actually worked. Because you'd obviously have to have the perfect type of turd to use that.
Well, I think you have to also have like sphincter muscles and control. Like I don't
Which
think.
what neither of them would have. Is that what you're saying?
No,
Are
I
you
don't
saying
know.
that Martin and Steele don't have perfect sphincter control? I find that very rude.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. The consistency of the turd, your sphincter control, the positioning of the twister. There's a lot
Yeah.
of things going on there.
We'll
Um,
have Steele back on and we will ask him soon.
But what I'm saying is maybe Sick and Wrong should come out with smegma wipes.
Smegma wipes. Yeah, we could come clean.
Well, for all the northern slags, because I'm sure you claim dubiously that you've never run into any smegma before. But I'm sure a lot of northern slags is like, God damn it, another conch with a bunch of smegma.
I've told you what they do. They just scrape it off and they put it in a tub. And in the morning, we just put that on our toast, and it's an extra bit of protein. That's what we do.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if
We're
you
frugal
just
up
had
north.
like a Sick and Wrong smegma wipe, you just be like, hold on 1 second, love.
Yeah.
And now it's nice and clean. Let's go. It's like I think that could
You
work.
sound like a Jack the Ripper victim then.
I do worry about the things that I put in my gob. So
My God.
yes. Oh, and recently Kate tried to do an impression of the Queen. And most impressions of the Queen should actually sound like this. I've not
Amazing.
encountered many cocks that have been circumcised. Keep it sick and keep it wrong.
I'm going to cut that out as an intro for the show.
That was amazing. That is how you should do a Queen's impression. I can't do the Queen. I like when when she does the psychopathy, when she says like really common words in her like kind of
gob,
voice.
but
When
she has a
says
posh
gob.
accent. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely compared to me, she's got a posh accent. So I like it when she drops in the colloquial words, like what the kids use.
I'm going to think about this. I'm serious about Sick and Wrong smegma wipes. I'll give you my business plan next week.
Should we call them Northern Slags smegma wipes?
Slag wipes.
Slag wipes is pretty, because slag wipes could also be for men and women. I actually think there is an audience for this. All I ask is, this is like what I asked for on my EP. Can my face be on the front of it?
Of slag wipes? Yeah,
Of slag
for sure.
wipes, that'll
Yeah,
totally be me going like this.
More attractive than my face.
Your face can be on the back. Your face can be on the ass wipes.
People call Sick and Wrong hotline 323-522-4032. We do have a Reddit page, people. A lot of stuff going on Reddit. I haven't been there in a little while, but Kate set up the Reddit page. There's a few hundred people on there.
Lots
Over
of good
500
memes.
people.
Yeah, lots of good memes coming out daily from all the lads and lasses there, enjoying all your work.
I'm sure people are going to put up some memes of my nunchuck picture, I'm sure.
Well, I started the ball.
You started making some of those memes. I appreciate that. Thank you. But there's a lot of gross shit. There's a lot of funny shit on the Sick and Wrong Reddit page. Just go to Reddit, do a search for r/Sick and Wrong podcast, no spaces. Check it out. Also, to all those people out there who have been listening to the show for many, many years, have been on for a long time, and if you're a big fan of the show and you want to find a way to show us some love, sign up for the Patreon, bro.
Yo, bros.
No, that's the thing. It's because a lot of podcasts, I remember before, me Wackley were really against it. It was just like, and just begging people for donations. Like, we're not trying to do a GoFundMe or something like that because we're going to do the show. We love doing the show, but it's really cool when people show us appreciation and support us. And to be honest, that's what keeps me going these days. I've been doing it so fucking long that I'm not going to keep doing it if I'm not making at least a little bit of money from it. But also it just shows me that people appreciate what we're doing. And that's cool. And because of this, that's why we're doing a lot more on Patreon than we've ever done before. I mean, to be honest, for only $5 a month, you get an extra story. You get extra phone calls. This week we played a call from a woman who might have met the rabbi in 2006 in Ann Arbor.
I've got to know the outcome of that. I have to.
I want to know that too. And then in the outtakes, which was like about an hour, a little over an hour, I discuss in detail meeting my nephew Shmuley last week in San Francisco. I refused to hold him because he has a foreskin.
Oh, are you that person now?
I was like, don't put him near me. He's unclean. No, I'm joking. I held him. He's really cute. Although I was very nervous. And
it seems like Wackerly is actually the real mommy.
Well, he's very maternal. He's
very
maternal.
Very maternal. I could not believe it. Wackerly could have just walked out with that kid and gone off into the sunset with him.
Wackerly's gained a lot of weight during COVID. He's got like B cups, I would say. I think the kid liked that. But I go into detail about like hanging out with Wackerly, and we had like a little get together. Also, went out with Joe Kelly drinking in COVID San Francisco, which is fucking weird. Paid $18 for a well whiskey soda at a bar in the Mission. Anyway, we go into a lot of detail about stuff like that in the outtakes. That's all for $5. And for a few bucks more, then you get our Sick and Wrong news segment, which is our celebrity news segment, which and just weird news. This week we talked about a woman with the world's longest fingernails. She cut them for the first time in 30 years.
Disgusting.
Yeah, Kate was freaked out about that.
I was freaked out. I felt sick. It was like, definitely pushed my gross buttons.
We also got into a story with EDM DJ Bass Nectar, who was grooming teens for sex abuse by making them watch American Beauty, the movie American Beauty.
Which I'm still intrigued by. Of all the films.
And then not only do you get Sick and Wrong news, you also get our bonus episode, Sick and Wrong Overkill, which this week, Kate prepared a whole thing. I think it was more like I don't know, erotic.
It was Mangala erotica.
Mangala erotica. It was about Nazis and their cruel experiments on Jews. Kate seemed a little too overzealous the whole time she went through talking about it. I was wondering what was going on over there. I heard a whirring noise, like a buzzing noise, like something vibrating over there. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I had
anyway, there's a lot going on at the Patreon. So we appreciate your support, and go check it out. Patreon.com/sickandwrong. Also this week, there's like 10 sales going on at TeePublic. The dude at TeePublic, because now we have like an account manager. The guy like messaged me all the time to like promote stuff, like promote the sale. But there's a fucking sale almost every week over there. So I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll post about it and we talk about it on the show. But sure, you don't have to fucking email me every week about your fucking sales. But there's a sale going on. All right, people, just go to Patreon. Just go to sickandwrongpodcast.com/shop. Click on the picture of the Pope. And you can like buy some Sick and Wrong merch at a reduced cost. Finally here, Sick and Wrong song of the week. Kate is gutted. Her favorite rapper, DMX, iconic hip hop artist behind the songs Party Up in Here, died this past week at the tragically at the young age of 50. He was only 50 years old.
50.
I didn't even know he was 50 years old. I thought he was older than that. 4 years old. DMX is only 4 years older than I am. I had no idea. Yeah. But he was a big rap star, from the late 90s. I had quite a few hits. What's that song? X Gonna Give It to You.
That's the only, to be fair, over here, that is the only hit he's had.
Oh, he was never big over there? What about Up in Here? Up in Here. That wasn't a big song?
Was that him? Yeah.
I'm sure it was played in all the Chevy clubs.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, he had a cardiac arrest earlier this week. He was on life support. His relatives were by his side. And on Friday, April 5th, they cut off his life support. He had a very raspy delivery. He's one of those raspy rappers like Busta Rhymes, Mystical, that type of thing.
Didn't he have like 18 kids?
15 children with
15
9
women.
different women.
What a shagger. Oh my God. Think about, do you know what? He's probably glad to be dead because he doesn't have to pay palimony anymore. This is it
Well,
for him.
you know, it's really funny though. So he earned like millions of dollars from his songs between like 2010 and 2015. Just in that period alone, $2.3 million. Filed bankruptcy 3 times because he didn't want to pay child support.
Oh, what a dickhead. Oh, well, he's in the grave now.
Oh, it's amazing. But yeah, you know, his music was definitely people would recognize it just from the growls, the barks, and the what. I used to love that. We're gonna end the show here with my favorite DMX song, which I used to play at least once a night when I DJ'd the strip clubs. Now it's a song that goes through my head when I see people canceling their Patreon subscriptions,
Okay.
saying that they're not satisfied with the rewards. I'm like, what do these people want from a Jew? Okay. Seriously, what do you want from a Jew? I can empathize here with DMX. And we're gonna end this song here with "What These Bitches Want" featuring Cisco. It's a DMX classic. Rest in peace, DMX. You'll be missed. People will be back next week with episode 787. Until then, take it easy. What you bitches want? I'm not gonna say it. It's racist.
Hey, Deadbug. Hope you're doing good, buddy.
Is Deadbug on the
I
YouTube?
think he just popped in to say, keep up the good work, guys.
Hey, what's up, Deadbug?
I'm going to watch his patron-only joint today. I didn't have time yesterday.
Deadbug was having some YouTube ish. Fuck YouTube. I'm so mad right now because I'm
saying
banned.
it's about that ad apocalypse free. There's been loads of channels that have like had strikes and been taken down and had copyrights against them. It's happening across the board. Susan's plan, she wants rid of the fucking cat videos. She wants rid of everything that can't be monetized.
I'm so fucking sick of yeah.
Cheers, Ash.
I like that guy make ball protection so the guys don't get damp while on duty. That's a good sense. That's a good idea. Makes some sense.
Do men not like it when their balls get damp?
No, it sucks. You get chafed.
What, when you're shagging?
No,
Is that not what he means?
I think he means it's like when you're working or whatever.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think.
Thanks,
You know,
Gino.
I like to use ball powder.
We were
powder
talking
my
about
balls.
this.
Yeah.
Like, is it just talcum powder?
Yeah, like baby powder.
Yeah, and you just like coat your balls in that. But does it not cloy together and create like
Cloying. It's so cloying.
like how I imagine flour and water when you mix it together and makes glue? Does that not what is it? Doesn't it do that?
No, it's just like powder. It's like fresh on your nuts, and it keeps it like from getting sweaty.
My ex on nights out used to always spray like deodorant down his pants just so he
It
could be, like,
burns though.
But yeah, so he's like, so my balls smell like Lynx for the ladies.
Smells like Brute by Fabergé.
Brute by Fabergé. Gino, Susan wants to take our cat videos, and it's gonna happen. YouTube will be monetized probably within the next 2 years. This is like the last dying dregs of it.
It's been dying for a while. You know, Gino wants to know, are the slag wipes moist?
Super moist.
They're very moist?
Yeah, they'll have to be super moist, won't they, to clean up all the smegma. Smegma is like chunky, so it has to be like moist to get the chunks.
Because that means psychopathia just like carries them in her wallet just in case.
She's a professional. She said she was at work. She's a professional. I mean, they have a little arsenal. They show up with a bag for a reason.
All right, people. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun.
Thanks, guys.
I always love when people hang out. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, you're
the
all
live
good
stream is kind of cool.
Good eggs for being up so early on a Sunday. I'll never understand. Like, if this was my choice, I'm not up this early on a Sunday.
Fuck no. You don't know what time I got up today? I got up at fucking 1:30.
That's pretty much the time that I will rise, and I consider that early.
Well, I get up. I mean, during the week for my job, I have to be up.
Well, yeah, aside from work, just like.
But
if
that's the reason on the weekend I sleep till 1:30, at least 1:30, sometimes 2:30, because fuck it.
Yeah, I'm always been a late sleeper. Hence now why I work a graveyard shift job. But
yeah, makes sense. All right, people, take it easy. Talk to you next week.